Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Laureli Shimayo. This is the MeWe Awakening panel on energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and online. Tonight is one of our awakening panels, and the theme tonight is shamanic and earth-based traditions and inspirations. There are 9 of us here on the panel. Several of the practitioners specialize in a very focused way on shamanism and shamanic practices. And some of us, it's part of our practice and part of what we value and appreciate and share. And then we have lots of other modalities as well. So I think what we'll do this time is let's split the introduction into 2 parts. So we'll do a shorter share at first about who we are and all of our practice, and then we'll talk specifically about shamanism after. I know those of you that is your practice. You'll I'll have you go last, because then you'll lead us into the more focused discussion on shamanism, shamanic practitioners. Yeah, and I think I did Wyatt and Marcia, and then Cindy towards the end. Is that right? I'm trying to figure out how to mix this up. If anyone thinks it should be different, let me know. All right, great. So I'm going to go be updating things on my list. And yeah, well, let's see. What else do I want to say? This is all recorded and will be on the web. So thanks so much for joining us. It's a free event. There's a small price to ask a question of the panel. I haven't checked yet to see if anyone is in line. Sometimes we have people in line before the event gets started. We have a sliding scale from 16 to 24, and BIPOC price is, I think, $10 to ask a question. All righty. Well, let's have our practitioners go through and introduce first. And so, yeah, so if you can aim for shorter intros, maybe a little more like 2 minutes or so for your personal intro, and then I'll give us a lot of time to share more about shamanism. All right, great. And we're just gonna, I guess, go. More people are coming. It's great. I love these adventures. All right, so let's go. We're just going to go in the order I have here. So Lisa, Satora, Jessie. We'll start there. All right, go ahead, Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa Love Warrior, and I work closely with Lords of Light who help us to awaken the heart vibration through different modalities of movement, sometimes sound, and we try to get the heart to open up and move more towards the morphing mind, because the communication between the heart and the mind is very important. And sometimes our heart has little whispers that we either don't always hear or we try to ignore sometimes. This approach is very creative. So we use lots of different modalities to try to unhinge any confinements that might be in the way of your personal growth.
Okay, great. You don't want to share anything else? Just because share about all of your work. It's great in this opening. Go ahead and share about all you do.
Okay. So my background is in yoga, and I spent a lot of time doing the physical practice because I kind of started my life as a movement practitioner doing gymnastics and playing volleyball. So I was very, outside doing a lot of things. And as my yoga practice continued, I started to discover that the physical practice itself was actually hindering my own personal growth. So I took a step aside from it for a while and allowed myself to kind of fall into what I perceive, and very little that I know about shamanistic work is into some really dark, deep, and heavy healing. So that's sort of where the morphing practices came from. So I help people discover how to unhinge from patterns. So physical patterns, patterns of thinking, and energetic patterns. So sometimes I do hands-on healing work or even long distance energy work for that. Thanks, Laureli.
Great, thanks, Lisa. All right, then let's Susy. And I got this out of order. So let's go Susy, and then Satora, and then Jessie.
Okay, thanks, Laureli. I'm Susy Parker Goins with Blue Lightning Healing. I'm a channel, so I'm able to embody spirit so it can talk to you, have a face-to-face conversation with it, so you can establish that relationship, get perspectives, ask questions, trade recipes, whatever you want to do. This is your opportunity to develop that relationship. I also do energy healing. I can scan your body and find out where you're holding energy, teach you. You usually, no, I will say you will always come away with some technique that you can use on your own. That's the point of what I want to do, is to empower you to be that manifester of your own healing. I facilitate. I also love looking at past lives and seeing how those issues are carried forward, those patterns are carried forward in your current life. I have done my share of shadow work, and it has given me a level. It informs what I can do, what I've been able to do, and how I empathize and sympathize with clients around. I have a podcast called Blue Lightning Healing Meditations. It is on, you can right now find it on anchor.fm and Spotify and all of these. I've got like 90 episodes up. I'm going to start my series 3 pretty soon. New things are in the works for that. I'm very excited to be re-energized by that. My website is bluelightninghealing.com. I have a Facebook page. The best way to get a hold of me is at Susy, that's SUSY, at bluelightninghealing.com. I do have a special $60 for 30 minutes and $100 for 60 minutes. And that's, let me know I met you here and we can work together if you want to dive more deeply. I'm so excited to be with these folks. Laureli is really good at drawing excellent practitioners to her, and calling them friends is making my heart very happy. So I'm looking forward to a really enlightening and informative night. Thanks.
All right, thanks so much, Susie. Thank you. All right, great. So let's have then Satora, Jessie, Jenna.
Hi, I'm Satora. I'm glad to be here. Welcome. I have a channel and an energy healer. I do energy alignments. I work with a group of ascended masters and angels called Amaris. And I also channel Mother Earth and a certain group of elementals called the Fantastic that help with everyday life, making things smoother. So we offer individual readings and also classes coming soon. And for the month of March, I started doing a Saturday group channeling event that's interactive. And for the month of March, it's going to be free. If you want more information about that, go to my website, amaris.com. You can contact me from there. I also have an event special, 20% off all sessions. In the energy healing, the energy alignment, I use predominantly 2 modalities: quantum energetic realignment that aligns you with your intentions, your dreams, and your true self. And in that process, a lot of blockages are being released and you feel uplifted and you are transported into a different state from which you are more open to receive, to move into what your true intention is. And then I use Jinjin Terra for the resolution of trauma. That is a hands-on touching points on the body. And this has a wonderful self-care component where I can tell you things that you can do at home if you wish to. So I look forward to connecting with you more. Thank you.
Thank you, Satora. All right, we've got Jessie, then Jenna.
Hi, I'm Jessie Starr. My practice is Healing Pathwalkers, healingpathwalkers.com. You can find out all about it.
Ooh, Jessie, hold on one moment. You're not coming to the front. I wonder, let's figure out why not. All right, start over again. Let's see if we can get you to show up in the front.
I'm hiding in the background.
I'm gonna spotlight you. There we go. You're up here. Go ahead, start over. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Jessie Starr, healingpathwalkers.com. Let's see. I am an intuitive, empathic psychic. I'm Claire awoken. I believe we all have these capacities. They're part of the human vessel. They're part of what makes us human and so fantastic. I teach people how to harness their energy, feel their energy. I work through teaching the foundation of the breath of life, which is taught in Tai Chi, taught in singing, taught in Qigong, It's using the breath and feeling that breath going through the body. When you couple this practice with all these other kinds of modalities and ways that these people have been talking about that are so powerful, we can really harness our own healing. So I'm a person who likes to put pieces together. I created a 1-year program called Life Mastery. We start in April, and it's the 12-step recovery program to the human condition. I teach you how to heal and utilize your mind, body, and spirit complex. I teach based on Gestaltian theory, Jungian theory. I integrate using sound theory, using your own consciousness and awareness. We also eventually learn to work with the Akashic and understand energetics. I am more about teaching you your consciousness and your awareness and how to heal those fractures that we get between our mind, body, spirit complex. I've been studying psychology as a layman because of my own need for healing and recovery, as well as when I was studying in school. And it's been a journey for me to recover from my own trauma and to heal in my fractured awareness. And I've really learned that over these years, it's not about how broken are we. It's about how fine of a painting of a stained glass window are we. And many of us who come here to tell really great stories, we have a lot of toxicity in our lives that we've dealt with, and we feel like that makes us heavy or wrong, but that lead is what holds those pieces together. So I like to bring a lot of different awareness. I was raised in the country. I was a horseback rider and potter all through my youth. My mom was a professional potter. We grew up on the land in a lot of like Wicca-based circles. So I have a lot of experience with so many different perspectives. I also was a mathematics major, psych minor in college. So I like to bring so many different pieces to the table, and that's how I was able to come into wholeness. And so that's what I offer for people. Anyway, I'm here and I'm super excited. I love this group. I love every vibe I'm getting here. I feel like this is going to give you guys some whole picture information. Thanks, Laureli.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so we have Jenna, and then I'll go, and then we'll have Cindy, and then we'll have Marcia and Wyatt. And then we'll talk more about shamanism and earth-based practices. All right, Jenna, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jenna Lynn Roberts with Present Path, and I offer intuitive coaching as well as tarot readings, and I'm about to lead an awesome tarot reading class. I'm an educator by trade. I taught ESL for 12 years, and so I've designed this very powerful 9-hour course where we go through all different aspects, from the cards to how to channel to how to create a protective energetic field around you. And I love this class because I feel like it gives people that sense of empowerment to access the art of divination, which is such an incredible gift to enjoy and to expand your life with. I also offer intuitive coaching. So if you're someone who wants to access your intuition more, you can work with me and we can develop techniques and tasks for you to take part in throughout your week that will help you deepen your own trust of your intuition and listen more clearly to it. I also am a writer. I'm writing a book about tarot, and I love sharing these sessions with these beautiful practitioners. I love the opportunity to read in a group and to hear how other people's interpretations run. And it's so amazing to me how often I'll pull cards and I'll think, oh, I don't know, I'll have that moment of doubt. And then everyone else is reading the same thing. And I'm like, we're all on the same page. I mean, it's just so validating in that way. And I really hope that you'll also check out my YouTube page. I've created tomorrow on Wednesday, I'll be sending out my 50th YouTube that I've done over this year. So I've turned COVID into a production time. And this one is going to be about the 6 ways that you can most easily access your own intuition. So subscribe to my page so you can get that through. And I have an email list where it's constantly being dropped in your lap, these amazing, fun, little quirky videos and readings once a week. So I hope you stay today and enjoy this amazing group of powerful healers. This is a unique opportunity to be able to experience so many people at the same time, even though we might all be tired of staying in and having this way be our socializing. you really are going to miss it someday, I think, when we're all back to socializing, only hearing one person at a time. So thanks for coming. And please check out my page, Present Path Tarot, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or email me at presentpathtarot.com. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Jenna. All right, I think I'm next. So I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. I believe that we all read eyes all the time. It's part of nature, part of how we've evolved, is to be able to see so much in each other. You can get a sense of that if you imagine when you've met someone with dark sunglasses and you can't see their eyes. There's so much missing. And as soon as you see their eyes, there's so much that's here, so much that we pick up about each other. It's subconscious though, so we end up making lots of choices based on people's eyes that we don't realize. And unfortunately, sometimes we make choices from our wounding, not from really what our soul wants, the calling of what's best for us. It's our growth path, so we're just growing through the lessons that are here. So I'm able to read your eyes, and I use a set of archetypes to describe who you are, what you're about, why you're here, your purpose, and answer questions about your career path or about relationships you're in, or about relationships you might be in, like matchmaking. Honoring your kids is helping them grow to be who they are, just all kinds of different things. Oh, and my body psychology work is a way of helping you be more aware of your body. So you get the messages that your body is sending you, and then also ways to utilize your body to shift when you're stuck. I help you grow through the lessons of all of the different traits that I see in your soul. That's what I do, as well as helping run this event. And let's see, we've got a number of other practitioners that can just share about their work. And by the way, my sessions are 40% off. If you sign up for something soon after being here in the panel, you get 40% off my prices. And all that's in the chat too. All right, let's see. So I think we said we're going to do Cindy and then Marcia and then Wyatt. All right, Cindy, let's get you up to the front.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cindy McGonagle. I'm a psychic medium, and I think we all need to take a big, deep breath in. Woo! And ground ourselves, because there's so much energy going on in the planet right now. And I want you to open your hearts now to a frequency from all of us, because we all kind of vibe on a very high frequency. And it's your opportunity to get connected with us. And not only am I a psychic medium, I'm also a palmist. And so I do these readings called My Pet and Me, where I connect you with your pet, with pets on the other side, and pets that you currently have. I work with pet Reiki. So I'm a Reiki master, and I teach you how to get tapped in through the heart connection with your pet to receive and to open up things like telepathic communication. As you can see here, we're all sort of teachers for you, and we all offer the wisdom to awaken you at a different level. And so I just want to thank you all for being present. And yes, I've worked in the shamanic field, and I do oracle cards, and you know, there's many teachers on this path. So I just welcome you. If you vibrate with me, I'm here to help you. Thanks.
Marcia and then Wyatt. Oh, I can't hear you. Let's figure out why. You're not muted. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, so if you have, no, can anyone else hear her? You can? All right, I wonder why okay, you all can hear her? All right, well, hold on, I'm recording, so we need to be able to hear on my end. Let me try plugging in my earphones and see if we can get that to work. I don't know what is going on. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Okay, my
can you hear me?
I can hear now, so go ahead now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Good deal. Okay, I'm Marcia and I do all kinds of different things. Usually I forget about half of what I do, but I am a shaman, Celtic shaman specifically. I don't know if that was ever come up with back then. It was probably called a druid, I'm not sure. But I do use a bit of druidism, and because there's no better word in the English language, I use shamanism. I also do hypnosis and astrology. I'm a Reiki master, a vocal artist, and a musician. and teach metaphysics and also advanced massage therapy. So loads of different things. Tonight, it's so exciting to be talking about shamanism because I resonate with this so much. And I've realized that I've used it my entire life through most of the things that I've done. And I think pretty much anybody that moves into shamanism is like that. It used to be passed down, you know, within the tribe. And I can remember those lifetimes. And it's so much fun to do now and to talk about. So I'm excited for your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcia. All right, Wyatt.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Wyatt Larson. I am a shamanism practitioner and spiritual life coach. I combine the ancient and the modern practices to be able to help my clients move forward on their path of healing. As a shaman, it is kind of our duty and my duty to really be there for the community, to help the community in any way we can. My community so happens to be all of you. So I am here in this moment to be able to speak and traverse the other worlds to be able to bring back the information in which you guys are seeking answers to, either oracular, healing, or other. This kind of, for me, has always been my path. I heard the shaman's call when I had my first near-death experience in a car wreck. And so that originally called me onto my path, kind of brought everything that I was learning up until from the age of 6 up until that point to kind of a peak, and I heard the shaman's call. It is a very powerful call, very powerful pathway, and I wouldn't have it really any other way, no matter how many near-death experiences that I have. Being able to be in community with all of these practitioners as well, it's amazing being able to weave this web of light, kind of like mother or grandmother spider. And we are weaving a web of light with everything that we speak, everything that we say, and each connection that we make. So I'm really excited for it, and I could go on and on about shamanism. That's kind of my path. But yeah, looking forward to all of your questions and just being able to hold space with you all. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much, Wyatt. All right, let's see. So let's go ahead and go around again, and we can talk more specifically about shamanism. And really, practitioners, you can have this be a bit of a popcorn. Like, I'm open to shamanic and earth-based practices. So feel free to just jump in, and like, if needed, we can go in a circle. But yeah, just go ahead and jump in a bit more, and maybe feel free to say, well, anything more specific about your practices and how they show up, or what ways you've seen it be supportive of people, or like what kinds of questions people might ask that are more specific to this, or I don't know, any kind of range of things. I'm open. Go ahead, Susy.
Got to hit that unmute button. See, for me, I'm excited to be a part of this panel because it's going to expand my understanding of shamanism. I always thought it was a cultural thing that only some people in a culture, but when Wyatt's talking about being available to the community, and then I've got a deck of cards, the earth magic cards, and I keep pulling the shaman card. I'm like, oh, okay, but I don't know if I could call myself that. I also deeply connect with witchcraft. I am earth-based in what I do. I am one of those, though, where I don't have the garden and I don't have that what one would call a hedge witch or a green witch thing going, but I do work a lot with energy, pulling it up from Mother Earth and from divine or Father Sky, and finding these things to help a client find those answers within themselves. That's, I think, a big part of shadow work, because I think we all have a shadow, because without the light, we don't, if we're all shadow and no light, or all light and no shadow, there's no depth. And being able to do these dives into your heart, into your soul, into your history is what allows us that tremendous amount of depth and roundness and fullness of soul experience, that it's one of those things that I just usually feel like crying when I start working with folks and see how hard they are committed, how much they're committed to their own growth. So I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. It's not necessarily something you want to do by yourself. And having a community around you of practitioners, of people sharing the experience, I think is what gets us all through whatever dark time of the soul one is going through.
All right, great. Thanks. Who else wants to jump in? Oh, great. Okay.
One of my fascinations is studying. Oh, did I just jump ahead of people?
It's okay. Some people are raising their hands and some are just jumping in. So Jessie, go ahead. And then we've got Wyatt and Cindy.
I'm not used to doing
that.
panels
It's
yet.
cool.
Sorry, everybody. I'm just going to throw this out and be really, really quick. I used to live as a child in New Mexico, in a small little village on the river, in a really intimate Hopi community. And one of the things that I thought was really amazing about this community was that everybody was family. Like, it really didn't matter if they were actually family or not. It was that they were family. And once a year, they would all rent this giant warehouse and just have this huge dinner. And everybody brought their dishes to this dinner. And it was considered to be one of the most healing meals of the year. People would like, it was like women showed their pride and husbands took pride in what their families brought. And there's just so many different layers to it. And as I grew up going to this every year, I realized that our community, it's only as strong as we participate in it. And I view that shamanism is really about a community deciding they're choosing somebody to represent their spiritual and their story as a collective. And so I have worked with many shamans over the years and found that the most impactful shamans seem to be those who recognize this community collective awareness and consciousness. And we learn that from nature. We learn that from being in nature, from being in the forest and connecting to the trees and the mescaline and all of the different layers of awareness that we have. So I view shamanistic practice as recognizing these layers of ourselves. It's in the darkness that we find our nourishment, and it's in the light that we find our transmutations. And so balancing these things is a very shamanistic approach. But shamanism, as we all know, comes from, from a very specific place. And so I see us as learning how to adapt and grow into our unique ways. And that's what I love about this panel.
Great. All right. Go ahead, Wyatt, and then Cindy.
So I just want to build a little bit upon what Jessie was talking about. The word shaman comes from the Tungus tribe in northern Siberia. The word shaman also means one who travels, one who goes, the one who heals. There's many attributes to this word. A shaman's duty is to his community, and the community doesn't always mean the living, doesn't always mean those that are incarnated at all in this life. Sometimes that means to the land, sometimes that means to the trees and to the plants that Jessie was talking about. And when you are connected and when you understand this connection, this community dedication, it is when we start to realize that, like I introduced grandmother spider a little bit earlier, that we are all connected in this very intricate way, that when I heal, you heal, that when you heal yourself, you're healing your inner child, that you're healing your family line. And it is this connection that we all have. The shaman is also one who has a foot in two worlds, to be able to traverse this world and the spiritual world at the same time. Usually when they go through life, it is their duty as a way. There have been many people that I have had come to me who needed help crossing over. Some of them not bodied anymore. They have been disembodied in some way where they have left their body either through a traumatic accident or they just don't know they're dead. And so it's time for them to move on. So, and in that case as well, I've also helped a lot of other people heal, to recall some pieces of trauma. When you go through trauma, you experience what is known in psychology as dissociation. Within shamanism, this is called soul loss. And I think Susy kind of works with soul retrieval a little bit. Doing the soul retrieval brings back power that we may have lost. And there's so many levels that Jessie was talking about, and I'm just really, really passionate about it, as is my path, I suppose. And we're all interconnected here, and this is just going to bring such a depth to all of your questions. So I'm super excited, whether it's about shamanism or something completely unrelated that we can tap into in a shamanic way. It'll be fun.
That's great. Thanks, Wyatt. All right, Cindy and then Jenna.
Okay, so I'm going to share a little mystical experience that I had that brought me to where I'm living today. And I had a visitation from a sacred elder that is from this area, Native American elder, and he was pleading with me to come and help. And I thought, and the time that I had worked with him before was when I was setting a medicine circle here in the Palm Springs area to unite the tribes of the North and the tribes of the South, meaning of the West Coast. And then 3 days later, I had another visitation, this time from a great tiger. And the tiger was also pleading with me, come down. And so with those two things, because I listen to the earth, because I am open to receiving direct messages on all levels and all planes that resonate with me and the earth and are of the light, I took it serious and I moved. So I do work with other people and help you to connect with those on the other side, be it your ancestors, and the clearing of your DNA, working with your ancestors through forgiveness and through gratitude. I also do lots of fun things with animals. And so tonight I actually looked at the cards for everybody. And so from the mineral kingdom, okay, in the earth magic that I practice, kyanite steps forward and says to you, if you hold me, and kyanite's a stone you don't have to ever clear, it's always there. It will also help you remain clear as you deal with other people. And as Wyatt has suggested, yeah, we're being bombarded by so many frequencies right now and other people's stuff. I want you all to step back and always ask, is it my stuff that I'm feeling, or is it someone else's stuff? And then do a practice of calling all of your energies that you've ever learned in any past life, this future life, or the present life back to you so you can ground those with Mother Earth. You know, there's so many things to share tonight. And so enjoy tonight's panel, and I thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. All right, go ahead, Jenna, and then Marcia.
Oh, I was unmuted. I hope I wasn't making noise. Hi there. Yeah, I just want to say that I personally want to just speak to the details of shamanism that I think are relevant to all of us. Something that we all practice that is an earth-based medicine, and most of us practice, is sage. And saging the home, I'd like to point out that around the world, smoke and incense and burning a plant is used all around the world. All these different cultures that never communicated with each other, or maybe they did, but over distances of time, all agreed somehow that burning a sage or a smoke of a plant of some kind in your home, usually a specific plant, will clear out the negative energy. And now science is backing that up with how it's, it does actually clean the air. When I was reading tarot cards in Jackson Square, New Orleans, I was beginning as a professional, learning through quite the whirlstorm that anyone who knows New Orleans can respect. And I would give a reading, and I was trying to get in a habit of saging a little after every reading or every couple readings. And if that reading was really intense and it was a certain energy of, woof about it, that sage was on fire. And if I was burning and it was, casual, easy reading, felt like very clear energy, that sage was like, piddles, nothing. And I feel like the earth speaks to us and it's willingly sharing with us this information, and that we can listen to it or we can negate it or be unconscious about it. And for me, the essence of shamanism that we all have access to is simply the idea of paying attention to the earth's messages and just not blowing them off as coincidence. And so, you know, I think earth medicine is an incredible field that we all can, you know, honor by simply respecting those who've worked with the earth for many thousands of years and consider their technologies valid in this current era that we're in, where we have technology meaning this higher concept of computers and whatnot. So yeah, that's mainly what I want to say today is consider for yourself right now, how do you listen to the earth, and how does the earth speak to you in a way that you listen, and how can you expand that in your own life?
Thanks, Jenna. All right, we have Marcia and then Lisa.
So I've heard lots of different talk. Jenna, yeah. Kudos to you for being able to do that. That's pretty amazing. In New Orleans is pretty intense. Wyatt, I saw you playing your wind flute. I would love to hear that.
I can do that maybe before we get really into it.
That would be great. I don't have my drum here. I do have a drum and I use my drum a lot. But I'm usually at work when I do these, so I don't have my instruments with me, but I do have my voice. So the way I work a lot of times is moving my voice and your energy through you. I don't work like a Reiki practitioner where I'm a channel for the energy. I move your energy through, moving it and guiding along, kind of snake charming it with my voice. So I'm trained in Eastern and Western medicine as well. So I get to watch all of that move through you and find the points where I need to help you release. One of the great things about the music that I use is that most of it is Celtic. And I'm told that even if I'm not singing Celtic music, it sounds Celtic. So, but I love the tones in that kind of music because they help you release the trauma that you have going on. And as Wyatt said, in the Celtic lands, we would call that the web of weird. So the spider web that goes through everywhere, we call it the web of weird, and the interconnectedness that everyone has. And so, yes, we're able to release things from past lives, this life, trauma that you've had all through your life that keeps building and building and building on top of itself, so that you end up with something that looks like an oyster, or a pearl and an oyster, or an onion. So we can get to the bottom of those layers and let everything go. So I don't know that there's anything else right now, but it's cool to use all kinds of different things. And I love talking about the, yeah, that just slipped my mind. Whew. Yeah, sometimes I can walk in both worlds, but tonight I must be stuck in the other one.
That's great. That's great. It's fun. Thanks, Marcia. All right, Lisa, go ahead.
As everybody has been talking, I've been trying to think about all the ways and when it kind of all started for me, but it sort of redirected me to wanting to point out that I would imagine that a lot of people who are listening tonight, you know, a lot of times we come to these panels with when we're in a place of curiosity and questioning in our lives and we want more answers. But I wanted to point out that I would imagine that you're all doing something very closely related to what we're all talking about, because it reminds me of myself and how I spent a lot of time using the earth as my best friend. So the earth was always there to hold me when I was weeping my hardest. The earth was always there to carry me when I didn't feel like I could carry myself. The trees have been a very attractive resource for me that I feel drawn to being held by as well. I hold them and they hold me back, and sometimes we communicate. So if there's anybody in the group tonight who is I just want you to recognize that if you carry these things and have seen these pockets of places in your life, to validate that in yourself, because partly the reason that this came forward is because it all sort of came out for me as what the morphing process is, because morphing is you allowing yourself to become who you really are. So as I have gone through the last several years of allowing this morphing process for me, there have been a lot of entrapments in my mind and in my physical body from whatever reason I could come up with. And when I would go outside, or even within the space of my own room and listening to music, and allowed myself to move and to let the energy that was in me to open, then I was opening myself to a catalyst that was calling me, or my spirit was calling this catalyst forward to become who I really am. So it reminds me of times when I was in the forest or in the woods somewhere, which I'll just throw in really quick. Marcia and I are in Montana, so we're in a very wide open, heavily native space. So we're very connected to that energy here. But there have been times when I felt myself become like a warrior, and I would dance like a native, or I would feel like a sorceress in some kind of way, because it was evoking a power within me that wanted to come out and express itself, but not in a harmful way. That was one of the things that my guides mentioned as I was, thinking and writing notes about what to talk about, is to remember that what we're looking for, and I can say we as in a collective, is freedom from harmful ways. So not just freedom from harmful ways towards yourself and towards each other, but towards the earth, which I know that's actually I want to say kind of an easy one, because that's an easy one for me. But the idea of being in nature and using animals to help heal the human is a really powerful thing. My next question, or my next suggestion, is how can we sustain what it feels like to be in nature and to be working with animals and work with each other? So again, I hear a lot of people choose, and I've done this myself, to be outside. We prefer to be outside. We prefer to be with animals. But when and how can we prefer to be with the human, with the human? So all of these qualities of earth and shaman characteristics, because there's also this quality of spirit that I think for some, we've been conditioned to think that to be in some kind of connection with spirit, that there's danger in that. So that's another concept of morphing, is from my guides are very specific in helping us learn to reach for our future in a way that we believe, trust, and know that we can live in a world where we are free of harm. Even if none of us on this panel exist into that time, we are here being called to start creating it.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, Jessie, go ahead.
One of the things that I wanted to bring up, just because of all these awesome things that have been being shared, for myself, the way I look at life is that we are, as a soul, we authored this really brilliant choose your own adventure novel for ourselves to be able to go through and evolve and learn and understand. But we also built this novel because it interacts with each other's novels. We each have one. And sometimes parts of us get lost in the darkness because we really do forget we're all these pieces of one collective consciousness here learning. And we are a divine union of this collective consciousness with these individuations of Gaia in these bodies. And these also have a collective knowing. There's a knowing that the body has, and there's a speaking that the body is doing together. And that's why we learn collectively. The 100th monkey test, I think Wyatt referenced earlier, learning is a collective. As I learn, you learn. So for me, one of the things that was really important, and I learned this honestly from the whales, because that's one of the first creatures that came and talked to me, and how they teach their young is by putting their young in these in the experiences and showing them the techniques of how they move and how they operate. And that young has to practice, and it has to struggle, and it has to fail. In the beaches down in Southern America, I want to say it's off of Argentina and Peru. No, it's off Peru, excuse me. There's a pod of killer whales, and they're the only ones that beach themselves intentionally in order to hunt. And it takes until they're about 15 years old to learn this. And so one of the things that they have to do is overcome the fear of drowning. And so the young will just watch, and they're inspired, and they want to go on. They want to try it because, well, first of all, it's crazy. It's scary. It's interesting. And they're the most intelligent of the species of that in the ocean right now, as far as structure and culture and dynamic. And so I watched these kinds of things. I was very fascinated and very connected from a childhood. And I learned that we're taught by being inspired. We're inspired by our story. We're inspired by our interaction and our connection. And that inspiration is what keeps us engaged in our own personal choose your own adventure novel. And so what I want to also add into this is that, and I feel like I'm kind of going all over the place, but I promise I'll put these pieces together quickly. Up in Longview, we went to and attended a potlatch ceremony, which is the indigenous peoples of this area's version of Thanksgiving, sharing of the bounty of the harvest. When my son was in 3rd grade, it was part of his learning curriculum. So cool. And the storyteller, or the person in charge of that evening's event, he was telling us about how money didn't exist amongst the tribes. They had what they needed to survive. So really, everybody just existed together offering. And so if you were to travel, you didn't have money to pay somebody for your stay in their home. And you couldn't really help, most work had to be done over a period of time, but you're showing up and you're getting fed and you're being cared for. Well, what you did have to offer was your story. And so it was your duty to have a good story to tell, and to have that story have an evolution of yourself, because as you shared it, you taught and you cared for those others, and they got to learn through your experience. And so that was one of those gifts to me that just really freed me from feeling the sense of sorrow or anguish, or even a need to forgive myself or the villains in my story, and instead realize this was how my story was made. And ooh, it's so good. You need way more than one night to hear it.
Thanks, Jessie. I'm sharing more context. I want to say one other thing that is related for me to this theme, and that's the topic of cultural appropriation. It's something that I pay attention to, is scheduling different events, particularly one like this. And I'm putting some information in the chat. So I feel like part of my role here is to educate all of us and share what we're doing as a way of aiming to take steps that we are not doing cultural appropriation tonight. And it's a learning process for everyone. So like one definition of cultural appropriation would be using objects or elements or teachings or practices from a non-dominant culture in a way that doesn't respect their original meaning or give credit to their source, that doesn't feed back and respect and honor where things come from. And so part of what we do in our panels is every panel, we always give 5.4% of profit back to Real Rent Duwamish. It's an ancestral community here in the Seattle area that has an easy way that we can help pay back community. And I usually do it of profit, and tonight I'm doing it of revenue. So 5.4% of everything that you share in donating or asking a question goes to them. And then we also have BIPOC pricing all the time, so that Indigenous peoples and all BIPOC people can choose to pay a lower amount for asking a question. And for practitioners that are in our fairs, we offer the same thing too, so that we're doing our part in giving back for the things that our ancestors have taken away, and that with the systemic racism that exists, that we are continuing to benefit from or take away from others. So I put a link in the chat too, if you're interested in learning which ancestral peoples were on the land where you are, you can type in your address and it will show you all of the different communities. And I'm part of some communities where, as a practice, we introduce where we're from using those names as opposed to the names that we've given to other places. So like right now where I'm sitting, I'm on the ancestral lands of the Tulalip, Snoqualmie, and the Coast Salish peoples. And so for me to get to know that and get more in touch with the history of the land and the people and the impact that my ancestors have created. And yeah, so there's some resources for you and just more of what I think about and consider in doing these events. And anyone wants to say anything else about that too, feel free. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. So if anyone doesn't have anything else to say about all this, we're going to dive in and look at some questions. I know we've got one person.
I'd actually like to say one other thing.
Yeah.
So I was married actually to a man from India, an Indian, for about 17 years. And one of the things personally, I know Jenna's also traveled there and probably could say a lot to this herself. We have, as a culture, just fully straight up appropriated Hinduism, Ganesh. We don't even say chakras, right? Chakra is the wrong way. It's chakras, right? So it's so easy for us to want to show appreciation because we love and get and feel this vibe with a culture. But as we do so, honoring and trying to recognize where it comes from, what it's about, what its background is. You know, in India, they'll use a lot of English words and they call it Hinglish, and they just kind of attach their version of it in there, and they'll just throw it in there. And really, we've kind of done the same thing. And so I really think it's honoring. It's as honoring as we can be, because it doesn't mean that we can't be, you know, ambassadors of these other cultures or these other traditions that we learn about. I certainly love to quote them all the time. But also as a mother of a mixed race child, as a wife of an immigrant and from another religious culture, one of the things that was the hardest for him was just hearing people take over and tell him about his own religion, his own value systems. So I think having some awareness as we all share is really valuable, especially when we come together in these kind of groups. And I'm not going to go too far into this, but remember, when you first start talking to somebody, you're just learning the lexicon they use to describe all the same things you also have experienced. We're not usually educating each other about things we're totally oblivious about. We're usually putting it into context in a way we can relate it. And so if we can remember that when we're talking to one another, we're actually like sharing wisdom and context more than anything. And that, I think, allows us to hold a position of being ambassadors and spreaders of cultural awareness rather than appropriators. That's my 2 cents on it, having come from just a really extensive background of multiculturalism in my home.
No, thanks, Jessie. All right. Well, we've got one person in line for a question, so maybe let's get ready. We'll dive into that. And I did mention in the chat, I'll say Satora unfortunately had to leave. I don't know if she'll have an opportunity to come back in before we finish, but I've let her know she can. Family emergency. So before we jump in and ask questions, I want to mention that, let's see, so I'm like losing my brain here. 3 things that I typically share. Yeah. So when you ask a question, and it's great you ask a personal question, those that have been here before, like we go deep, and keep in mind it's recorded, and that if you don't want to share so personally, when it's going to go up online, we're all available to do sessions with you privately. So when you more people coming. When you ask a question, if we go to a different topic that perhaps is related that you don't want us sharing here, let us know. Or if we go too deep and you don't want us sharing in that way here, please let us know. Unmute and tell us, wave your hands, write in the chat, whatever is needed to get our attention and have us shift course. We aim to honor you in our response. And then we believe that everyone's intuitive, and being here at the event, you may know that. So you may have something come through you when someone asks a question. You might want to write it down, because often those messages don't stay, they can float away. And then we request that you keep the attention up on the panel when we're answering someone's question. So when you want, when we finish answering that person's question, if you want to, you can write to that person privately in chat and ask them if they'd like to hear what came through for you. And please honor whatever they share. They may be full after hearing from so many of us, and trust that it came through you for some reason. And I invite you to listen and learn to all that is asked and all that is answered, and let it be a learning experience for you, even if you don't ask a question. And people asking about the recording. Oh yeah, so let me post that. I don't think I've posted that yet. It's here at the bottom of my long list of things that I post. It goes on our YouTube channel. I've stopped posting them on Facebook because there's so many. I might get them up on our website at some point. And I need to go down the hill to someone's faster internet where I can upload them. So I have not uploaded any for a few weeks now, so I'm behind. It takes several hours each year. Yeah, all right. And more people are coming. All right, so I know the first person in line to ask a question is Natalie. All right, Natalie. And by the way, since we have so many practitioners, we might not all answer every question. So if there's a practitioner that you particularly want to have answer, feel free to mention that one or those few practitioners, and we'll aim to get them in line first if they are ready.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the practitioner that I had reached out to, and I can't remember her name now. Let me just look in the chat really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Oh goodness.
And practitioner, if you know who you are, feel free to.
It was Jessie Starr.
I was going to say, I think you reached out to me.
Okay, thank you. So my question is kind of general, but in particular, I'm noticing kind of a lot of shifts within myself, and I just want more information about that, like a lot of changes coming into maturity. It feels like I'm 33 and I'll be turning 34 on May 2nd.
So that's actually a pretty natural progression that we go through. We all learn and grow in these stages and cycles. We actually grow in 7-year cycles. These are our chakra growth cycles. And, you know, in psychology, they say your first 7 years, give me those and I'll tell you what kind of kid you're going to, or what kind of adult you'll be. These cycles continue throughout our life. And 33 is one of those like closing points as we're about to transition into another phase of our life. It's actually, we kind of think of it as the Christ year. It's right around that time when Christ took up his real mantle of his truth and started being willing to die for what he believed in. It's one of those times in our lives where we make the choice. Am I going to break away from what I have been doing and what I've been conditioned and programmed? Or am I going to listen to this quieter call that's inside of me? And I feel like that you've made a choice to listen to that quieter call. And when we start to listen to that, it means we start to see where in our reality is our programming countering with what we actually are feeling to be true behind it. And for energy workers, this is when we start to feel this intuition starting to come into play, and this empathic nature. We're like, God, you're smiling at me, but why do I feel like you want to rip my throat out? Like, we're starting to feel this counter between the reality and the energetics behind it. Some people start kind of going crazy at this point if they don't trust into that, or some people aren't supported by their families. Maybe there's a lot of dysfunction and nobody wants that truth to come out. So really, I feel like I'm sensing for you, you're really starting to make that transition and that change into trusting your inner knowing as these things are coming online. So you're probably having more dreams experiences, more vividness in those, and having that sense of almost a dreamlikeness as you approach your reality. So this is a very natural awakening progression for the human condition. In Islam, they actually state that at 40, you come into prophethood if you're here to do such. They believe that we study the Quran. Anyone can study the Quran, and it's a sure path back to God. But not everybody can read it and really know what it means. So those that do are imams, and they teach it. And it's their duty. But not everyone's going to be able to have that path and have access to it, and it means something to them. They may have wounds that are around that religion. And so some come in and they have a natural path back to God, and those are considered prophets. So it's our time in our 30s as we approach our 40s where we're learning our path of our prophethood, our path back to God. And by 40, we start to mature into this process of ready to deliver that path. And in the Tarot, we look at that as like the magician transitioning into the high priestess, being willing to share what she's learned. So that's what I see is happening for you. And I think trusting yourself and finding people that you really resonate with and that you can build the confirmations that build your trust will support you a lot.
Amazing.
I don't want to talk too much. I'm sure there's other people who have something to share too.
Great. Thanks, Jessie. So we've got Jenna in line and then Lisa. Go ahead, Jenna.
Hi, so nice to meet you, Natalie. I pulled both I Ching and Tarot cards, and the card that I got for you is the Knight of Wands. And so what I'm seeing here with this particular character is that you're someone who likes to fly by the seat of your pants a bit. You're a woman of action, and you're still kind of figuring out your way with that. But what's interesting is exactly what Jessie said along the lines of transmuting the beliefs that were given to you and how you want to change, especially the stories you tell yourself about your life up to now are changing from those that might hold you back or limit you to ones where you are more expansive and more empowered. So a lot of story changing is happening. And this is interesting. You have both the Four of Wands and the Six of Swords reversed. So that's like, I don't know if there's a marriage or divorce going on, but to me, that's saying you are gathering your community around you to support you in your path forward. And those who you are over their crap, you're just letting them go. And you're being like, I don't have to answer your call. And Jessie related to this too, that you're really making choices around who you're welcoming into your life as you go forward. And some people are going to get severed, and you have to let go of any guilt around that because they're attached to some of those old stories that you don't need to be a part of anymore. The other thing is that you are also, I would say, your card that you're stepping into, which is why it's so important. In the I Ching, you have card number 32, duration. So you're looking at things, and this reminds me of when I turned 40, I was like, certain people, I mean, you're 33 to 34, which is do it earlier than me, please. I was like, I don't want my 40s to look like this or this or this. I'm changing those behaviors. I'm leaving those jobs. I'm leaving those relationships because I need something that feels like I'm excited to be in it for a decade. And even though, you know, you're at 33, 34, you're really going for things and dedicating to a longer term, which is not the typical behavior of this particular court card. So that's a growth for you, is to be like, I want to commit to things in a way where I'm excited about the long-term commitment of them. And, you know, put my passion and fire into one direction that really like supports me. So I think you're moving in a positive way, but it is going to be a little bit of a letting go and a shedding that might be uncomfortable for you and those who you need to let go of.
Thank you. That really resonated too.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Got Lisa and then Cindy.
Okay, hi. I just want to make sure you can't hear the heater going on in the background.
We can't, it's fine.
Okay, good. Okay. I got a lot of the same information. I was actually trying to quiet the voices that were speaking so that I could tune in a little bit better. The first thing that I heard was, and this is, I'm going to say exactly what I heard and then I'll explain a little bit, that you're having a hard time with your brave Wolverine. So again, I spoke earlier about how I work with animal spirits, and I have spirits that are calling themselves Wolverines, because a Wolverine is a characteristic animal that sort of stays hidden in the back a little bit. It's very quiet, but knows what to do, knows exactly what to do. But every once in a while, if it's provoked in some way, it'll have a response that makes other people a little bit uncomfortable. Now, my experience with this is that it is meant to be this way. So the rest of the message coming through was that they want you to have more freedom to communicate. So again, it just kind of ties in with a lot of what everybody else has already said, but trusting yourself. So really the first thing that I heard you say was, I'm feeling these shifts that are taking place in my life. Trust that. It's beautiful that you even recognize that you're having shifts that are taking place, and to know that with all of this information, your way is going to find the way. Let's see. They want you to have courage to believe in yourself and courage to believe in the path that you're on. And as I'm saying that, I'm just kind of looking back at my own life. I'm going to be 48 tomorrow, and I hardly remember my 30s, but I do remember feeling like I wanted to do everything right. I wanted to make sure that my life was right. And it's taken me this long to realize that everything that happened was right, even though there were hard things and mistakes that I made. But even the word mistake, I think, should be reevaluated, because it ultimately is not, because we get to grow from them. And that's just another aspect that my guides in the last few years have been showing me, that when I make a mistake, or even when I behave a little bit more like a Wolverine, where I'm starting to come forward with this energy that is, I want to say this with great care, because it's been my experience that as I come forward with this energy, there's a lot of people who kind of point the finger back, like, no, you shouldn't be that way. But as a yoga teacher, perfectionist, that lifestyle created a confinement in me that was keeping me from just being who I am. Anger is part of who we are. We get to say, I'm sorry. We get to forgive ourselves, and we get to learn how to be better next time. And then also to forgive your friends, and the word appropriate came through here, for trying to appropriate you, and to just believe in your freedom from harm. So as a person who might be having these characteristics as a Wolverine, that might come forward in ways that make some people feel a little bit uncomfortable, to remember that you are free from harm. So I'm shaking a little bit in trying to say this, because I'm still having to learn what that really means. Because when I show up as who I am, and it makes people uncomfortable sometimes in whatever way that it might be, I already start to, like, even just wanting to speak tonight, I already start to feel this tendency that somebody out there is not going to like what I have to say. But the more that I can remember and remind myself that I am free from harm, regardless of what the external expressions are, the more carefree I become, and the less like a Wolverine I become. I still love my Wolverines.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. We've got Cindy and
Sure.
then Susie in line.
Okay, so yep, I'm going to fast forward your life for you as a psychic. Okay, so hold on tight, because here we go. All right, first of all, I want you to always remember to do self-care, okay? Self-care as you're going through the advancement of your soul is really, really important. And whatever self-care looks like, do it. I want you to socialize with people who carry your vibe. And you'll know that by other people's vibe coming right into your heart. And you just know the answer is yes, yes, yes. You're constantly being helped all the time. And if you don't think that you're being helped, ask ask for help. And then when you ask for help, let it happen. You let other people actually help you. I see you becoming an author, and I also see you becoming a counselor and working with the mineral kingdom. The mineral that steps up for you is citrine, so that you can step into your power and not be afraid of what you're seeing and feeling and owning. And you are a spiritual teacher. So thank you for stepping into your new role of an awakening. And I can't wait to see and hear from you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. All right, we've got Susy in line next.
Hey, Natalie. 30s. Boy, when I turned 30, that was the time I was taught to tell everybody to take a flying leap, okay? And so this is your opportunity to really feel like a grown-up. What are my notes? That you're finally making your own decisions, stepping out of those boxes that everybody wants to put you in. I see that there's some hesitation, so I ask you to trust your inner voice. And as Cindy took you, fast forwarded you, I was able to see something in the past, a past life in which you were a woman who was, she was about your age. It feels like she was, the way I'm seeing her, she was around your age right now. And she was in tough situations, like a pioneer kind of woman, or even maybe this is the same time, you know, like in the Depression era, where there were so many decisions to make, so much depended on what she did and how she did it. And rather than freak out, she has this very quiet, calming confidence about her. She would look around and see whatever was around her, decide on a course of action, roll up her sleeves and do it. So she comes forward and she encourages you to trust what you hear, to listen to your heart, that there are no mistakes, but there are lessons to be learned. So you can choose how those lessons go. If you're going to, you know, revert back to a tantrum state, then okay, you're going to be learning those lessons again and again. But if you go ahead and integrate the wisdom from these lessons, then you're able to develop that confidence to trust your inner knowing. You have a lot of inner knowing here, and you'll be able to trust it and make some decisions that you are very confident with, and that will help you move forward to this point of not completion. What does she want to say? Her name was, I'm not getting her name. Okay. She says Arabella is what she wants to be known as. But she is, she's there. She's ready to help you. It feels like she would have just a hand on your, are we doing this in mirror? No, it would be on your right shoulder. So it would feel like her right hand on your right shoulder, which is the projecting side. So when you have a decision to make, you can ask for her help. She's not a spirit guide so much as, not specifically, but she embodies the energy of understanding support and being able to ask for help. She wasn't able to, but she certainly helped all those around her. Very shamanistic in that, and what we're talking about is helping the community. And so as you feel that shoulder, you can understand that you've got that support, so you can make the decisions and trust what you know. Trust what you know. That's what I got.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks so much, Susie. Anyone else have anything else to share with Natalie? Thanks, Natalie, for your great question. And yeah, so much wisdom. All right, great. Thanks so much, Natalie. We've got someone else in line now for a question. Kat, did you want to come up?
Hi, thank you.
Did you want to turn your video on? It's up to you, but we can't see you. It's totally optional.
No, I don't think so. Thanks for asking.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I was just I'm open to any messages that come through for me today, please. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Take a moment for people to connect. Susy's got something. We'll let her start.
Yeah, they made me take off my glasses, so it looks like I'll be channeling. So Kat, if you could please breathe in and bring Mother Earth energy up through your feet and into your body, and anyone around may please do that also. What you are pulling up is that stability, the foundation, and acceptance of abundance. Mother Earth provides you with everything you need, with the universe who will come through in a moment to support you in that receiving of abundance. You have abundance all around you. Understanding that you are worthy of it is most important for you. There have been times in your current life past in which you were told you were not good enough, that you were not deserving of all that was good, and yet you fought it and soon you came to accept it. So we ask you to take that inner child and all of these lifetimes who have experienced that moment of not feeling worthy, they all come together to reparent this inner child and explain to her that she is a wonderful being. She has so much to share, and we ask you to accept that. So as you're pulling Mother Earth up through your feet and into your heart, and then bring divine source, universe, Father, sky, whichever you wish to call it, and bring it through your crown and have that join up with you in your heart also. And as the yin yang, the koi fish who swirl about each other, understand you are an embodiment of the universe. You are one with the universe, and you are perfect. You are divinely perfect. Even though you may feel you have flaws, those are your flaws. That is what makes you divinely perfect. We ask you to sit with that idea that you are divinely perfect. Even Turkish weavers would have a planned flaw in their weaving. It's called the Turkish flaw, and yet it was still beautiful because divine is the only one who could make anything perfect. And yet, even with what you perceive are your flaws, you are divinely perfect. We ask you to sit with that, and we bless you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we've got Jenna, Lisa, and Wyatt in line.
Hi there. So I just want to say that this should be pretty fast. It's talking about a relationship, and I'm not particularly certain whether this is one that is in the throes right now or has already sort of closed the door. I'm going to say that he looks like, or this person, it could be female as well, looks like someone who doesn't quite, they're not in their fullest integrity. And I just feel like something's amiss about the words they speak and the truth they live. You fell in love, you had an open-hearted experience, and I think a lot of that had to do with the Hermit card. You have the Hermit card and the Lover's card, which is such an amazing mix for a transitional point to be in between the Hermit of being in your spiritual center and loving yourself fully and wholly, much like what Susy was just sharing about, and the Lover's card of seeing your divine in the external love you have for others and seeing yourself through the eyes of others. Now, if you did have this relationship, don't judge yourself for it. Understand that it was a Lover's card karmic connection that needed to happen. But I do have the Eight of Cups, which makes me think it probably ended. Or it's okay to let go of it if that's what's the point it's at right now. But with it, you have moved in because of this experience of a sort of almost tantric connection. You have thus moved into becoming the Queen of Cups. You are in a much more emotionally powerful place, and I highly recommend that you start accessing your own intuitive tools, listening to your own art of your life experience and tapping into art and really allowing yourself to step into your own skill set around intuition. Yeah, so I think you've just been through a little whirlwind of a relationship that has spoken to you, and I think it's good for you to acknowledge that it was a blessing that you had that experience, no matter how it went or is going.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jenna. All right, Lisa, and then Wyatt.
Hi, Kat. I just want to first comment on your delicate voice. And as I was tuning into you, relating quite deeply, actually, a lot of what I'm going through in my physical body and with my own heart healing, they're saying that you have a similar thing happening with your right arm. So basically what that led me to is if you could join me in placing your fingertips really lightly on your collarbones. There's this place between the collarbones, little hole that for people like us, I'm gonna dare to say that you and I are a lot alike. This place is where we tend to hide. And as I'm touching it, I'm feeling all the pressure of things that have happened to me in my life and how it caves right here. I cave, and it's subtle. It can be energetic. It can be posture. So again, as a yoga practitioner, there was a lot of focus on trying to open this space physically so you could stretch this area, but it's also a place that when we are sad, the tendency is to protect it a little bit, and that's okay too. So sometimes overexerting and pushing this energy open in order to force our voice or force, I'm hearing the love of our life to come forward, that to be much more gentle with yourself. And I'd like to also add to just kind of very gently strum your fingers to the outer edges of your collarbones, because it's where it connects to the shoulders and then the arms. So Jenna mentioned doing some kind of artwork. You may find something that doesn't look or sound like what the word artwork means, but I do know that your arms and your right arm in particular, that there's a heaviness that tends to weigh the way the heart energy wants to exist in our world, within the human body. So I'm moving my arms. I don't know if I'm mirroring everybody or not, but I'm moving my arms to my right side to help nurture the heart energy to flow over to the right side, which can also be related to our masculine. And that as we flow the heart love into the right arm, we have a little more of an ability to feel what's coming. And I'm just going to repeat again some things that are more relatable to me, that a lot of times when I don't want my heart to get involved, because I know all the ways that my heart, I shouldn't say this, but kind of gets me into trouble, but it gets me into trouble in all the right exciting kinds of ways. I tend to overbear with my right side. I tend to shut my heart voice down. And again, I'm just using gestures to show this. So gently let the right side shift back, let the left side kind of come up and flow more in that direction. So again, here I'm just doing basically what the energy in my body wants to do. But as you play with whatever it is that you're about to embark on, give yourself permission, maybe put yourself in a space where you feel really safe to allow whatever is coming up from the heart. And again, to this place, which my guides call the Karina. It is where the bird's wings come to the bird's breastbone and where they fly from. And I'll stop there. Good luck.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right, we've got Wyatt and Jessie.
Hi, Kat. I want to ask a really quick question. Are you currently feeling disempowered?
No.
No, not disempowered? Okay. Then this is a lesson for you. So, who came to me, which is actually really unsurprising since I talked about her twice already, is Grandmother Spider. She decided to come in to kind of, one, provide that you either need to stay within your own power more and really claim it, and two, this artwork that everyone has been kind of touching on, and especially what Susy has been talking about, is like weaving. What's really coming to me is like a basket. Yeah, Grandmother Spider was showing me a web. And it's something that is usable, an art form that is usable, whether that's weaving a blanket or creating a basket or some other usable artwork. This is going to be something for you to really connect the dots with your own inspiration and the usability in life. And that was really like the end of that. She was very direct on that. But that's what she's wanting to bring forward to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Wyatt. All right, Jessie.
So I'm going to kind of just pick up where everybody has been putting it in. And I want to thank Susy for that grounding and that channeling, by the way. That was lovely. Thank you. First of all, whenever I work with people and they're trying to figure out their purpose or their passion, the first thing I tell them is, well, what's the most exciting thing you could imagine if you gave yourself absolute permission right now to do? And if that's like making macaroni and cheese, then go make it. And you know what? It might be because the last time you gave yourself permission to make it, you had some experience, or maybe like for me, if we were really getting to be naughty, like we were raised by a vegan who was a hippie and like had TVP before. I bet most of you don't even know what that is. Like, I mean, I was on Willow Run butter before soy products were even like on the market, you know? So I just grew up in a different way. And so macaroni and cheese, like at somebody's house, that was like this holy cannoli. Are you kidding me? It's like God put something in my mouth and it's delicious. And I get that feeling even still when I see those, you know, see a box of macaroni and cheese, even though like, come on, it's snar. My gut's all no, but vibrationally, it brings on this way of feeling. We are vibrational beings. So that's the first thing is get into touch with what your passion is telling you. And being creative, it doesn't necessarily mean creating a product, a tangible thing. Being creative is a process of taking the divine inspiration and running it through your vessel set and putting out whatever your unique output is. So, you know, the creation began in every religion. They have this same belief that God spoke and matter started to organize itself, right? We now know because of somatics that everything, and because of string theory and physics, that everything is vibrationally relational. Nassim Haramein created the mathematical formula to illustrate it is the space between particles that organize the particles together. And it is the attraction of these particles to one another, of the space between, of the void, that determines the strength of the surface tension of a thing. So the reason I say all of this is understanding your vibrational nature is impacted by other vibrational beings. When we interact with other people, our body and their body are speaking vibrationally. I like to think of it as God's song is playing in the creation, and we are music boxes, and we channel that song through each of us. So find the way that song wants to flow through you. And lastly, in Kabbalah, which is the Judaic mystical sect, they believe, and it's one of our oldest, right? All the Abrahamic religions are based upon it, They believe in the tree of life. You know, first you build that central column that pierces you through the veil, which we think of as the chakra column. And once you're in past the veil, you're talking with that consciousness of the space between. You now bring that consciousness back down through your tree of life. And we've all seen those symbols. I'm guessing that chart, it looks like little circles all connected with lines. And those are the paths that God explores. It's sephirots. And so each of these sephirots has a job or a role. Our right side is our feminine pillar of severity. Our left side is our masculine pillar of mercy. And so I'm just going to really quickly jump through this. But basically, when you travel with like an alarm clock and you don't want all the buttons to be pushed and you don't want the batteries drained, we like turn those batteries opposite. And so oftentimes in our culture, especially, we're taught, well, the left side is the feminine and the right side is masculine. But that's because how most people operate that way. That's how we want our alarm clocks when we don't want random buttons being pushed. But as we activate, which everybody is right now, everybody's just being put online appropriately. It's like our batteries are being put correctly. And so it's not that always our feminine energy is running on our right side and our masculine is on our left, or vice versa. These are spiraling frequencies that are moving through our bodies. What Lisa was referencing earlier about right side, I'm feeling that your sephirots on the right side are blocked. So that's going to be matriarchal energy. Maybe you have some issues with a mother, or maybe it's like a mother, grandmother. So Akashic work can help with that. But also recognizing you are your own woman and how you're inspired to be as that is going to be very different. Don't take on the responsibilities just because your grandmother and your mother did. And I'm also seeing that really heavily right now, it's you had a lot of sword cards come up when I pulled some cards for you. There's this like masculine idea of cutting through choice and ideas and concepts. You have to sing your song. Okay, nobody else is going to be able to do it. Nobody's going to be able to deliver what you're here to deliver. And so whatever the beliefs are that are telling you in any way that yours isn't the right way or good enough, it is time for you to feel that passion and that love that you once gave to lovers for your own work and your own journey. And that's what I'll close with.
Wow.
Thanks, Jessie. Oh, sorry, Kat, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, wow, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and we've got Cindy wanting to share a little bit too. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, Kat. Okay, so I'm going to kind of spin it around a little bit. I've heard so many different great suggestions for your next step up, your clearing work. And so now I want you to get in touch with your body. I want you to ask your body to talk to you and to ask your body what your body wants. I want you to look at the food that you're taking in and seeing how that resonates with you. Ask your body if it's the right food for you to eat. You know, get much more in touch with that. I want you to laugh. I want you to listen to the comedy and laugh in life, okay? Because when you're laughing, you're in touch with your spirit, okay? I see that, you actually have this great care and loving for the animal kingdom. I want to encourage you to develop that. And I want you to know that you can just let go. Just let go. You don't have to hang on to all kinds of, stuff from your past. Just let it go. Surrender. Move forward. And you do have a very creative side, like a lot of the panelists have told you about. And I want you to tap into that creativity. And like we've all said, just whatever your passion is, do it. Try it. Feel it. Own it. And be you. Thanks.
Thanks, Cindy. All right, Marcia's got something too. Go ahead, Marcia.
Hi, yes, I agree with what everybody else said. And I want you to sing for yourself. I don't know if you sing or not, but it doesn't matter. Your own voice can heal you and can help you. So that's the way I get it in touch with my body to feel what's going on. And that's how I, feel what everyone is going on or has going on. So when you are singing, Most people will sing in the shower. Yes, that's great. But bring it inside and actually sing to whatever you've got going on. This is going to be a really powerful tool for you. And most people I'm not called to even talk about this or for. So please give it a try and see what happens. And then let me know.
Thank you. You said sing inside? Okay.
Yes, sing to any part of you that you've got hurt in. So if you want to, if you got something to let go in your heart, or if you want to empower your heart, if you want to empower yourself, one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach, and just start singing to yourself, like inside yourself, not just to yourself.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
All right, Jessie, if you could be quick, a little bit more.
Super fast. I just want to dovetail with what Marcia just said. I'm in vocal training, and so exactly what she's talking about, singing so you feel your vibration in your hands. Like, I love that you said that, Marcia. Put your hand on your heart, put your other hand on your stomach, and sing until you can feel that buzz. Like, that is your most powerful tool. And I play guitar, and feeling the buzz of the vibration of those tones on my body while I'm singing is so powerful. Thank you so much for saying that, Marcia.
Thanks, Jessie. Oh, well, thanks so much, Kat, for your question.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right. We've got someone new. Oh, and Wyatt. Yeah, Wyatt shared when he sings from his soul, his crystal bowl sings back. Yeah, it's great. So we have someone new. I don't recognize your name in line. Carrie. And practitioners, we have 2 other people in line too. I think we've got 3 people now, just so you're aware of time. Carrie. Oh, great, great. All right, Carrie, what is your question?
I have so much, but I'll make it short. I have had a very intense and amazing and beautiful connection with the universe my entire life. I have been living in the dark I'm going to try to not be emotional, for the past 5 years. And the last time I had a direct communication with the universe was 4 years ago, and I thought I had lost it. Last night I was hit with a very intense message, and that was, my mind is too cluttered, and the blessings I'm about to receive cannot be received until I clear my mind. But I feel like there's one boundary, and that is self-forgiveness that I'm having a hard time finding. And how do I clear my mind and let it all go?
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing, and totally okay to be emotional. We're all here holding the space in this.
I'd like to jump in if I can. Nobody's
Well,
raised their hand yet.
Yeah, well, go ahead. And then we've got Marcia, Susy, Jessie, and Wyatt. So go ahead, Lisa, go first.
I'll be quick because I feel like I jumped in. I'm going to try to explain this, and I hope that it comes across the best as possible, because it's not something that a lot of people fully can grasp or understand. But I'd like you to try to utilize your own energy to clear your mind instead of trying to stop your thoughts. So if you can feel your heart right now and breathe into it, sometimes when the heart is also cluttered, it's difficult to even do that, but I'll explain it. And maybe if it's something that will work for you, you'll remember to allow the vibration of your heart to travel upward towards your mind, and use the idea that your loving heart energy can actually love your mind space. Your third eye, your mind's eye is what my guides call it. To try to untrap. So if this is the top of your head and your thoughts are pressing down on the top of your head, use your heart energy to lift the pressure from the top of your head upward. You know, there might be people who think that this is going to connect you to your higher self or higher forces, and I hope this feels like a safe thing for you. But ultimately, one really earth-based aspect to it is that you're loving your mind. You're putting love into your mind and treating the thoughts that you are having with care. So instead of telling yourself that your ego or your thoughts are a problem and hating them, give them love. Let that love vibration and reverberation travel into your headspace, into your eyes, your tongue, your cheeks, all of your bone structures, your ears. I hope that helps.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, we've got Marcia, Susy, Jessie, and Wyatt. Go ahead, Marcia.
Hi, Carrie. I just want to, can I just sing for you quickly? Okay. Lay down your head and I'll sing you a lullaby back to the years of Lulilay, and I'll sing you to sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bless you with love for the road that you go. I want to keep it quick tonight, but if you can just envision all of that stuff just falling out of your mind. I figure I know I needed a visual with it. So if you watch Harry Potter, that's what it looks like to me when they tap their wand on their head and it comes out in a beautiful silvery stream. That's how I clear my mind. That's how I let things go. Other people can see them fly, the thoughts fly away, and a butterfly or an eagle swoops down and takes it away, you know, whatever it needs to be. But I also agree with Lisa, moving that heart energy up into your head is beautiful and will always work as well. Don't get discouraged. That's the other message. Stay in it. You're doing good work. It may not come to you like you think it needs to, but you're still doing good work. So don't get discouraged.
Thanks, Marcia. All right, we've got Susy, then Jessie, then Wyatt. Go ahead, Susy.
So Carrie, the first time Marcia starts singing, so of course I've got to come through. I'm Gaia. I am Mother Earth, and I am here with you. So first I would ask if you ever want to, first, the thing that we did at first was to bring Mother Earth energy up through you and bring divine down through you. That will help you calm yourself and center. Another thing is the definition of forgiveness. Does it mean you're condoning what you did or what you're condoning someone else did? No, it does not. There are many forms of forgiveness. What I feel for you is going to be most beneficial is to envision yourself with whatever it is you feel has harmed you, has offended you, and reclaim your energy from it. So if it's someone who has sinned against you, for lack of a better word, demand to have your energy returned to you. And then that energy that was put in your place, that other person's energy, you give it back to them. So there is that exchange of energy so you can be more complete. And you can, sometimes they need to be told, yes, here's your energy back so you can go and live your life and I'll take mine out so it's not cluttering you. You have scattered your energy quite a bit. Call it back in. Some would call it soul retrieval. We call it forgiveness, whatever it is you need to do. Oh, she made notes. What else? Also ask if it is is it your energy? And then you can do the exchange. That's what I have for you now. And do trust. Trust that these lessons are coming to you and they are so deeply embedded because this is karmic lessons you're learning. And you're never alone. Never, ever are you alone. Call for help and we'll be there for you. Blessings, my darling.
Thank you, Susan. All right, we've got Jessie and then Wyatt.
So I work with trauma. And as I referenced in the 6-year cycle, I just would like to ask, did you have some trauma occur when you were 6? Yeah, so our third eye chakra is being mostly written when we're 6 years old. And then we readdress it when we're 13. Then we readdress it again at 20. Then we readjust it at 27. So you may notice a pattern of those years also. This is when we're really addressing, how do I interpret and see what I'm sensing and picking up? And as you had mentioned, I've had this universal connection the whole time. It seems great. I would dare guess during those time periods, you probably felt a little more distant from your ability to know. And so I think your trauma had something to do with that. So you really need to connect. And that's why you get the brainstorm. So we can clear and clear and clear and clear and clear. But until we address where the matrix is broken and where the belief patterning is broken, I think supporting yourself with your own energy vibration, just like how Lisa referenced, I like to think of it as like the sun of myself is radiating its light through every cell. And I just blow that out through my whole body until I'm making a toroidal field of that. That helps support me with clearing. However, connecting with that 6-year-old self, what does she believe to be true right now? What does she believe happened? What does she believe is going to happen? Earlier, I referenced we have this massive choose your own adventure novel. And as we go through these experiences, we're like putting our finger in it. We're like, oh, no, 182. Anytime it says go to page 182, we're saying no to that. Wait, let me check and see. What does it say? Go to 164. Okay, now I'm going to go to 23. Now I'm going to and I'm going to try to plan this out. And like Wyatt has referenced several times, grandmother spider, our energy when we're born, we're kind of like that spider webbing that we get at Halloween. We're this perfect, pristine white webbing. And as we go through the linear experience of our life, time's not real. It's just our experience of it that's pre-programmed to run at this linear fashion. We're putting pins and points of reference of ourselves, of this webbing back in time. And so as we move forward, we're like dragging that past these points of reference with us. And our consciousness, our energy is now pinned into those other places. This is what everyone's been referencing by like soul retrieval or calling yourself back. We keep them there because they prove true our belief. So until we address the belief, we can't really let go of the reference because we're beasts of efficiency and we want life to get better, easier, safer, happier. So we are going to avoid those things. So take time to connect with that 6-year-old until you connect with her and recognize that she, as Gaia said, referenced through Susy, everything is perfect, including what happened to you, why it happened to you, because as I referenced earlier, God got lost in this game. There's parts of it that just gave up, died, got lost in its own darkness. And we're trying to pull everybody out. So only the strongest of us dove into those really dark places to be born in, to birth that light of awareness inside. As you do it inside of you and your family around you, you're going to see it lift in your community. So that's what I wanted to add to all the other brilliant, amazing things that were shared.
Thanks, Jessie. And before we have Wyatt go, I wanted Jenna to be able to jump in. Jenna's not going to be able to stay after 8. Jenna, did you want to?
Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Carrie. I just wanted to share really quick. I pulled 2 simple cards for you. I highly recommend you look them both up. One is the 52 in the I Ching, and this speaks directly to what Jessie was sharing about your most equanimous approach of accepting the light and the dark, that which felt good and that which felt bad, and seeing it from a place of equanimity is the path forward. And part of that is a part of self-forgiveness, because you just see it all as equal ground. Those things you've done well, those things you haven't, all part of the same beautiful balance. And so I think number 52 in the I Ching, I highly recommend you learn more about. It's a great meditation card. And as you can see, and it's about self-renewal. And yeah, I think that's a really big part of what is coming forward for you. And also on another level, which is very practical, is this Queen of Pentacles is who you're moving into becoming. She, again, is incredibly equanimous, and she takes things slowly and is patient, and she's practical, but keep in mind, crying is a practical thing to do too. So, you know, it's allowing the emotions to flow and doing it for the sake of healing, because it's a practical choice, you know, and not feeling like you have to, I don't know, give it any drama. It's just an experience you need to move through you. So blessings to you. I really, yeah, I really, sounds like, I think Jessie, from knowing Jessie's work, she might be able to really help you as well. So I hope things get better and you're able to access that which you're trying to access soon. And to everyone else, thank you so much. I'm sorry I have to go early tonight, but it's been a blessing spending time with all of you. Please reach out to me at presentpathtarot.com or find me on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook under Present Path Tarot. And send me an email at presentpathtarot@gmail.com to say hello. I'm offering a class on tarot reading thanks, Jessie. I'm offering a class in April 11th on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights online for 3 weeks. Total of 9 hours of class, really rich, fun class to access your own tarot skills. And I'm offering intuition coaching now. So come and get a reading from me or some coaching, and bless you all on your journeys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Jenna. It's been great having you. All right, we've got Wyatt and Susy. And just keep in mind, everyone, we've got several people in line for questions too. I'd love to get through as many as we can. And I don't know who can stay late with me. We'll see. Go ahead.
So I actually want to be the last one for Carrie. So Susy, you go.
All right, great. Okay. Susy next. And I got to go too. So Susy, then me, then Wyatt.
Okay. Carrie, what I wanted to add is that tears are a form of release. So as you're moving through the emotions, the tears are blessed. They are holy. You are releasing. So please don't be afraid of it. There we go.
All right, great. And then one of the other practitioners was nudging me to read your eyes. So let me go find you where you are. There, Carrie. Okay. Yeah. Hey. Oh. Well, let's see. So you're very grounded. You like things to be practical and realistic, right? And you're very comfortable in many ways on this plane. And so being energetically so much lighter as things come through is a different experience for you. That makes sense? Yeah. So part of it is trusting and knowing that you're solid and you're here and you always have access to connecting on this plane, right? That's part of just the capacity of the being that you are. And I can't quite tell if it's you, your family. It looks like you also have a big heart and you do feel really deeply, and you attempt to keep that hidden so that not everyone knows. You feel very deeply when others are in pain, when people need love. So you're able to be a really solid foundation and a big, strong beam of love at the same time. And part of what can happen is if someone didn't honor your heart and you closed your heart a bit. And the big lesson of this one is self-love. Yes, you have to open your heart again. You have to love you and really be a warrior and a stand for you and your own heart. knowing that you are safe and you are protected and you are fierce, but that you're also fiercely loving, so that you let the love flow in and out and in and out. So you're right on this journey to trust yourself and allow the love to flow. That's what I see. All right, it's Wyatt's turn.
Hi, Carrie. I want you to hold everything that everyone has told you already in your heart. Lots of love, lots of compassion, lots of self-forgiveness, which you already know about, that you must hold. But you don't have to hold it either. Self-forgiveness and love are both like rivers, or like the wind. Marcia, this is where you're getting your wind whistle too. Carrie, I would like to offer an experience. Earlier in this panel, I had pulled a wind card from my wind bag. And you're not really going to be able to see it because my camera's not that great, but it's Dagoda, who is the Polish wind of compassion. He comes with a message of finding freedom in forgiveness. And it was really interesting. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll blow in the wind. Like right after Marcia said it, I'm like, let's do this for the entire group. No, it's for you. So the directional wind as well for this god is coming in as a doldrum. And a doldrum means not a place of no action, but it is a place of stillness, a place of rest. Dagoda in this doldrums is just really quick background. Dagoda is the wind that brings in the warmth for spring. Without Dagoda, or the Polish believe without Dagoda, we would not have spring on Mother Earth. So it would become very quickly very icy. So I would like you to find and allow this wind to come into your heart when I blow this wind whistle. I'm going to coach you really quick, and everyone, you are welcome to do this as well, to do this wind breath with us. So just real quick, I'm going to coach you. Don't do it yet. Breathe in through your nose, and then we're going to release down to the very depths of our lungs. We're going to release all this hardened air that has been kept within us and stale and stagnant since birth. And then in this emptiness, this is where our power lies. So we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then I'm going to bring in the wind of Dagoda, this wind of freedom and forgiveness, of compassion. And you're going to breathe in as much as you can. This is a long whistle. So go as far as you can and then hold it until the end of the whistle and then release. And this goes for everyone as well. So let's do this all together. Breathe in through your nose until your lungs are filled. And now release down to the very depths of your lungs until there's no air left in them. Now I want you to hold it. This is difficult for a lot of people, but hold it. This is your power. Breathe in as I breathe in this wind of compassion, Dagoda. And when you're ready, release. Dagoda is going to help you in releasing any of those blocks, in releasing what needs to flow for you to declutter your mind. Like the dam that a beaver has built, that river can now flow free.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks so much, Carrie, for your question and your presence during our answers. All right, we've got 4 people in line. I'm still sorting out exactly who everyone is. And yeah, I agree, that was beautiful. So the order that everyone came in is Tiffany, and then I believe it's Christiana, and then Karina and Chelsea. And someone asked about going sooner. So we're not going to get through all of them the next 27 minutes. So some of us, if we can, will stay late or I'll give refunds. Someone asked about going earlier and only if others can wait. So Tiffany or Christiana, I think it was someone after you that asked. If you all could give me feedback in the chat, that would be great. Yeah, great. So Jessie can stay with me. We've got at least a couple of us. But yeah, so the 4 of you that are in line, is there anyone that can't wait a little bit longer? So 3 of us can stay after 8:30 Pacific time. Yeah, 4 of us. Okay, we're set with that. Who was it? Was it Karina asked about going earlier? Just trying to get you all in if we can. So Tiffany's okay waiting. So who is it that wanted to go earlier? And Christiana, I wrote you in the chat trying to see if that payment was yours. If you can help me, I'm trying to connect everyone up. Sometimes names don't match everyone. I'm trying to see if that can. Okay, great. She said yes to you. Okay, great. It's her. Okay, and who was wanting to go earlier? Christiana, Karina, and Chelsea. I think it was Karina or Chelsea. Okay, Christiana needs to go next, then it looks like. Okay, so Christiana, go next. Thanks, Tiffany, for waiting. And we will see how we can speed everyone through while being thorough and rich in our responses. All right, Christiana, go ahead. What is your question?
Sorry, I actually wrote it above. I just want to scroll
I've got
up
it.
Okay.
So did you want me to read it out?
If you don't mind, that would be lovely.
Sure. Okay, there were 2 parts. So the most recent part that she wrote, oh no, that was an also if possible. So I'll read the whole thing. Oh no, that's Tiffany. I didn't see Christiana's. Maybe I put them together. Sorry, I gotta go check.
It's okay.
Now.
I can screenshot it if you want. I can just find it actually.
Sorry, everyone. I'm concerned that I'm squishing 2 people's things together. Okay, great. It came again. No. Oh, I know it is yours. It's because I switched the names up and I got you all sorted and I have your question from here. So it might be yours.
Yeah, I just found it so I can.
Yeah, and did you give me 2 parts? You gave me a part early and a part later?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it all. How can I be the best I possibly can be? How can the best
Sorry, I meant to say me.
best me I possibly can be in the moment I'm in right now and continue to grow with a loving like and radiating the feeling of love, a loving life and radiating the feeling of love and happiness to others when I'm in my presence. Also, if possible, if anyone could suggest any books or YouTube videos that may match the best to what I'm looking to radiate, would be very much appreciated. Thanks so much. All right, well, of course, Lisa Love Warrior has something to say, but I think Jessie jumped in first. So just everyone, if we could let's keep them rich and short. Go ahead, Jessie.
So we've already spoken to this, so I'm not going to speak too terribly long. When you want to be the best you possible, you have to show up in your highest form of excitement. You have to show up giving yourself permission to say yes to the quiet inspiration and not the loud demand you believe will get you acceptance from the outside world. And this practice, you have to practice it in every moment. When you're choosing the food, the highest excitement, when you're choosing a person to go on a date with, the highest excitement, an idea, an art form, what gives you that highest excitement? If you're interested in some sort of a YouTube channel, my favorite, and he is a channel, is Daryl Anka channeling Bashar. And Bashar speaks to that a lot. that's another consciousness that guides people. And as I was coming through my own journey and growth and development, I listened to a lot of that. And personally, my life mastery program is built all around that, because we don't give ourselves permission, because of just like what Carrie was experiencing, the wound of her 6-year-old. She learned a maladaptive patterning because of a wound. And that became an autopilot program. So when opportunities in that alignment came up, it pulled her out of the alignment and the flow and puts her in a triggered reactive state. So we have to deal with those triggers and give ourselves permission. And when we can't give ourselves permission, do the shadow work.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Let's see. We've got Lisa and then Susy.
You know, there's so much to say, and my story is that I grew up self-hating and came to be this love warrior. How do I love myself more and more? And ultimately, if I could say one thing and keep this as short as possible, I'll try to keep talking and keep my picture in the frame here. I have to love everything about myself. I have to love my wounds. I have to love my nervousness. I don't know if anybody could see this, but I'm totally sweating over here. I have been all night. I have to love all the parts of me that feel like they need to be fixed. And, you know, I've gone through a lot of different things, and the way that I discovered this was I actually had to let go of what everybody else was saying. I had to stop listening to other people. And that's how I landed into this path of being a love warrior. You're going to get a lot of information from all of us tonight, and it's valuable and it's brilliant, and you're going to grab onto something and it's going to totally work for you, or it might not. So again, the one thing is learn how to look at the things about yourself that you might just hate the most, and give it all of the love that you could possibly give, like a child. You know, like when a child is having a temper tantrum and all you can do is just hold them and love them. So I'm going to end with that since we're running out of time.
Thank you. Can I just say something for like clarification purposes for my question? I just want you guys to know that like I'm actually like really, this is almost like I'm asking you guys as like a growing perspective. Like I know I'm a very good person, and I make the morally right decisions, and like I'm happy with like the stuff I'm doing in my life right now. But it's kind of like I don't feel depressed really. It's more of just like maybe like just looking for like an extra boost. Like everything has really hit me for that's being said though, for sure, in a good positive way. But I just want you guys to know that like I'm not coming from a place of like, you know, sadness or something.
I don't feel sadness from you.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I just think that if, especially as we're working with the shamanistic views tonight, that sometimes darker places in us don't show themselves until we start asking. So, okay. And I don't like, all I want to do is speak from my own perspective, and that my life as a yoga teacher and a yoga practitioner, I felt the exact same way. I did what I did so that I would not be angry and that I would not be depressed. And then I came to realize that stuff was inside of me anyway. So you might not feel that way right now, but as you ask the question, what can I do? You will find your way.
Thank you.
All right, great. Susy.
Okay. Hey, Christiana. What I do is I will when I'm looking for the next path, what my next step is, I will put myself through meeting my ideal self, a meditation with that, in which I go into my sacred space and I'll bring forward an ideal self. What would I like to be? And then I talk to her and I ask her, what did you do? What did you have to deal with? And I don't think it's necessarily cutting to the chase or bypassing any issues, but it does allow me an opportunity to know what to look for and how to do that. And of course, I've got a podcast for that because, there's always a podcast for something. And it's, you're going to find the layers. It's excellent that you were asking the questions. What can you do to move forward? And you're going to find layers, and you're going to say, okay, sometimes it's going to be easy, sometimes it's going to be thick, but talk to your ideal self and see what she did to move on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. All right. We've got Cindy in line. I want to jump in and share one quick thing. Just if you don't know it, Outrageous Openness by Tasha Silver is a book that I enjoy very much. It touches on all kinds of different things. And you might find that enjoyable. I can put it in the chat. All right, Cindy, go ahead.
Okay. I have a slightly different twist to everything, of course, right? Okay. So one, I want you to recognize that you're getting the messages for yourself all the time, and to trust. Again, trust yourself. All right. I want you to explore the options that are coming to you, ideas. You can do a scoring system and ask on a scale of 1 to 10. And I use the word God on a scale of 1 to 10. How good is this choice for me? And then whatever number you hear, or see or feel, okay, just trust that that number is correct. And anything that scores 8 and above, worth pursuing. Anything that scores 7 and below, forget it. And I mean, forget it. Even if it seems like it's, the right thing, forget it. And then I want you to give away stuff that you no longer use to open up the space for what's coming in. It can just be a single object, but the act of giving away will open up more opportunities for you. Okay. I see you moving. Okay. And I also see you needing to just sometimes you just need to relax a little bit and not, just keep going all the time. All right. And do you work with your guardian angel at all?
I don't think I do.
Okay, so on a soul level, we have at least one guardian angel that comes and is with you for every lifetime you've ever had. And so I'm going to encourage you to use affirmations, okay? First thing in the morning, okay? To start your day off right so that you're on the right vibe, okay? Positive affirmations. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube, okay, that you can connect with, and people's voices to connect with, okay? And then I want you to ask your guardian angel to help you to whatever it is that you desire, okay? And be super clear about asking. And then ask your guardian angels to show you that they're actually working with you, okay? And then be grateful and thank them, okay? So whatever prayer, whatever method of prayer you like to use that, okay? And just, you've got the power. I want you to use it. Own it. So number 1, ask for it. And number 2, act on it, okay? As scary as it may seem, do it. And you will accelerate at a rate that you've never done before in your whole life, okay? The energies are so strong. The planetary alignments right now are so strong as we move towards the next full moon. You have this great opportunity now to step forward and recreate the life that you've always dreamed of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, and I want to share just a bit more. So in the way I read people's eyes, one of the traits I look at are talents. There are 7, and I typically describe people as having 3. There are 3 layers, and I think you might have one of them twice. So your first one might be what's called priest priestess, and your second might be what's called priest priestess. And what matters is the interaction between the 2. So when it's first, energy gets directed outwards and they see all these things that they want to have grow and get better, things that they feel are out of alignment and they want to shift and change in the world. So part of you goes outwards and wants to make change outwards. And then when it's second, it gets directed inwards mostly. People want to be good on their impact on the world, but they look inwards to see how they need to grow and change themselves, right? I need to get better. I need to do more. And they can be hard on themselves. So you may have energy outwards and energy inwards. And so the energy inwards is questioning the energy going outwards and says, oh, don't be too tough. Don't ask for too much. You know, don't be too big or don't get too much attention for yourself. Or so there are ways you want to step out and there's energy pulling in too. And so you're kind of fighting with yourself a little bit inside. And the ultimate lesson of both of these, because they see not only what's here, what's possible, right? And see it outwards or see it inwards, is the complete lesson is the biggest lesson is, while you might sense what's possible or see what's possible or feel what's possible, it's to create a context by which what's wanted can be discovered for others, for you, for the world, for you, and then to be open to whatever that is. It might be what you see, but it might be something else. And to also know that the journey is perfect. There's no rush. So you're so perfectly on your path and others are perfectly on their paths, right? Even though you see more of what could be, knowing that the journey and where we are is just right. And so for me, it's a increasing gentleness within so that you can allow the parts of you that breathe outwards to happen, you know, and to trust the journey of where you are and where everything else is. So hopefully that's, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Anyone else have anything else to share with Christiana before we? Great. Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, thank you for letting us share with you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. So we've got Tiffany, Karina, and Chelsea, and I'm trying to see if, and I might have someone I got to mute. Okay, here we go. All right, can any of you stay and wait? I know Tiffany said she could stay and wait somewhat. I'm just trying to get you all in the order that works best for everyone if we can. Get back up to the top. Okay, Chelsea can wait. Okay, great. And Karina, or Corinna, are you still here? You are. Karina or Corinna, can you wait? Or did you need to go sooner? And I'll go in order if I can't.
I think in like a half hour or so.
Okay, yeah. So maybe
let's
so
see. I'm gonna stay and then figure it out if I can stay more or not. Is that okay?
You said you're going to stay and figure out if you can. Yeah, Chelsea said she can stay. And then, so
Okay.
Tiffany, are you okay if we do Corinna first? Chelsea, we know can wait. Okay, well, let's get started with Corinna. I think I'm hoping that's going to work. Sorry, what's that? So Tiffany, please, I hope that works okay, that we do Corinna first. Okay, Corinna, go ahead, jump in.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
This is my second time here. So my question is, as I shared last time, I just found the good news that I'm pregnant. And I do have an opportunity, if you can call it, to move. And part of me is, the rational part is thinking that it's going to be a good move. And the other part is not, because as we're trying to save money or work on something bigger, we're moving to somebody's house and we're going to be at the first floor. But if something happens to one of the persons there, we're going to be on call at night. So the idea here is, I'm not sure if I should move or not. And it feels like a good thing to do because one person is 80 years old and the other one is in a wheelchair, and they do have somebody to take care of them at daytime. But if something happens at nighttime, that means that nobody's there to be there. This will be in exchange of a free rent. So I am just curious if I have a lot of mixed feelings if I should do this or not.
So this is, you're going to be doing some work doing care for them. Is that what?
No, yeah, kind of. If something happened just at night, it's not something specific, like somebody can fall or, or somebody can die, because one person is 80 years old and the other one is in a wheelchair. So they need extra support at night. That means if something happens, we can at least call the ambulance or,
Right. Hopefully it's
So we
minimal.
do
You
have-
don't quite know.
Yeah.
And is this to be just while you're pregnant, or is this supposed to be after the baby is born too?
Oh, no, we decide.
Okay.
We decide.
I'm just trying to think of
when-
noise and how the noise will impact them after the baby. Great.
Oh yeah, they are okay with it. I'm trying to think if I'm going to be okay with it.
Okay, great. All right, we've got Jessie in line, and all right.
So I've been a mother, and I'm just going to say, first of all, what Laureli was going on, and then what you said is perfect. Am I going to be okay with it? That period of taking care of our infant it's a very intense period. There's nothing that is ever going to try you, break your ideas of you, going to force you to do what nothing in reality can possibly force from you, like having a child, which means realizing you don't matter. Suddenly it's not about you. You have this infant who, unless they are your primary responsibility and focus, that they are going to somehow grow up with a hole because somebody else was. So the stress of you trying to be a parent and not wanting to disturb in the middle of the night some very elderly people is going to be a stress on you. And if you already are wondering about it, I guarantee you it will be. Those little nagging ideas become much bigger. Kind of like when we date somebody and we're like, well, he kind of snorts and then picks his nose in this way. I think it's okay. But by 7 years into the marriage, you're like, I'm going to gut him if I see him do it again. Like,
yeah,
there is this evolution of a degrading of our patience for those things that are small things as they begin. First of all. Second of all, that idea, I pulled some cards for you with the idea of that. I got the Tower, the Seven of Cups, and the inverted Knight of Swords. Like, burn it all down, like pipe dreams, and don't act on that idea. Like, I can't put it any other way. So that feels to me. And then when I tune in energetically to the stream of a path of you moving into that house, it just feels like there's no energy there at all. So recognize you have this really powerful period as you prepare to become a mother and to bring that child in, to set your nest up, whatever that's going to be. But it's going to need to be, really like the next year to 2 years, because that time period is exhausting. It's exhausting. And you aren't on a regular schedule. That baby doesn't care about morning, noon, or night. It doesn't even have that concept, so neither will you. And so if your spouse is working to support you, your job, support the home space, your job is supporting this infant for acclimating to the human condition. And if we do our jobs correctly, we have really powerful children. If we don't, we have children who are going to recover, and irregardless, they're going to recover from us. We can't help it. We're human.
I see. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Who else wants to share? Excuse me, I don't have any practitioners in line at the moment.
I'll speak for a little bit.
Sure, go ahead, Marcia.
I also saw that it wasn't such a great idea, and I've been a mom and a grandma. I'm grandma of 6 kids, and you really need, I feel like you really need that space. It might feel like it's a really good opportunity, but you need your own space to like Jessie said, create that nest and make sure that you're taken care of. You know, right now it's all about you. It really needs to be all about you. So just my little piece of advice, and that wasn't from spirit, that was from me being a mom.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Yeah, I'll comment too, just a little bit of a comment. So I remember a bit of your last question. Maybe not all the practitioners remember. And I would think about just there can be increased stressors after the baby is born. And I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking about the baby's father, and wanting to keep you in a space and a place where there won't be even more things that are challenging or difficult in terms of the environment that the baby has. So in addition to you and what you might want for the baby. It's a big trade-off though for free rent. So if you could do it temporarily and then move somewhere else, that might be that's why I was
that's
asking.
what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking to raise a child there. It was just, you know, since I'm early and by the time I figured it out where, so yeah.
If you feel like
totally
it's easy and you could move afterwards with ease, then I could see that for a few months and saving, that could be good.
Yeah.
So practitioners, anything else? Oh, Cindy's got something. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, so just remember, you're creating your reality by the thoughts that you think, okay? So do just that. Step into your power, figure out what it is that you really want to manifest, and ask for it, okay? Trust what you get, okay? Really trust, all right? You don't really need us to tell you what you want. You already know that, don't you?
I do. But today I was struggling with this question. It's been on my mind for, I feel like I just want to try it just for the idea of trying it. But then again, I'm not 100% sure in it. So that's why I needed extra guidance. And I came online and I saw you guys talking and I was like, there it is.
Okay.
I asked for guidance and there you came.
True. So negotiate, like Laureli was suggesting, a temporary try it out period and see if you like it, if you like the vibe, and if your partner likes the vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you will be merging your child's and yours and your partner's vibration together 24/7. And you want to think about that, you know? You want to know that the property feels right to you, you know, that the nature that surrounds the property is healing for everyone, you know, that the noise level, you know, is going to be fine, you know, and just,
I see.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. We've got Lisa in line now.
So hi again. I remember you from the last time you were here. And I was trying to tie this question into the theme for tonight, and it just reminded me of my last message for you, which was based off of a friend of mine who had her first child about a year ago. And she has a very, what I think of as a unique relationship with her baby, because she communicates with her like telepathically. Before she was born and as she was an infant. And so I didn't catch whether or not you've seen this space and have felt it, because I like the questions that Susy was asking or pointing to. But when you're in that place where you're struggling to make a decision, I mean, we all know that place so very well. And again, we, you know, I mean, I even did it with a practitioner tonight. I verified something that I was uncomfortable with and uncertain of. But what would it be like for you to explore stepping into whatever it is that you want to explore, and then explore the other side, and then give yourself permission to just wait and either decide, with your partner, or maybe even tune into the force of life that is inside of you and ask for some help there as well. And again, I say it's kind of a unique thing because this woman is, I don't have children of my own, but again, I'm going to be 48 and I have had a lot of friends, and she's kind of the only one that I've ever heard of who has developed this kind of an intuitive relationship. Not that other women haven't, but she's spoken to me about it, and it just keeps coming up when I see your face. So good luck.
Thank you.
All right, great. It looks like Jessie's got something else to share. Go ahead, Jessie.
I'm just going to echo what Lisa just said about that. Like my son actually, so I had an abortion when I was 19. And my son then came back to me when I was 26 and birthed him. And I knew, like I knew. And when he got older and I would tell stories from before, but between that period between the abortion and the pregnancy, and he would correct me when he was little. I'm like, boy, you weren't there. You don't know. And he's like, oh, I remember. He totally remembered. And before I even left my marriage, like he came down one night, it was late at night, and he said, so, I think he was like 10. He said, so where do you see yourself in a year? And I was like, what do you mean, boy? Well, where do you see yourself living? Well, I mean, wherever I'm living, you're with me. Yeah, but where? So my son, and now he's 17, and I'm just going to be real. He checks me. He is my guide, like I love that you brought that up, Lisa, because from the moment I realized I was pregnant, I was like, we're a team. My job is I can't save you from the couch, but I want to minimize the number of hours you need to spend on that couch digesting the life I gave you. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make that happen. And that became my healing journey. And now that's really what I do as work. Raising my son taught me how to be this person. And so I love that Lisa brought up inviting her into that conversation already. And I think that's really powerful. And just as a mother, that journey that we get with our children, if we choose to take it up, it is what will shape us and change us and challenge us. It's, like my son said one day, I got this new nose ring and it kind of hung a little low, but I liked it because it had all this color and stuff. And he was like, I said, boy, what do you think of this? And he goes, Mother, you can't be the lady with a tattoo on her forehead and the big nose ring. It's called tact. So we need our children to call us, to confront us, because they see us. And that's part of why we want that sacred space with our children, because they do see us. And you can't hide who you are. And I loved that Cindy brought up, you're inviting those people into the relationship. It's a soup. You're all getting into the soup together of energy. And so is that vibrationally the soup you want to raise your child in? Because in utero, what you're shaping is your earth star chakra and your soul star chakra. How your vessel is going to translate as its first run and break up the vibration of your reality is formed in utero. So that space, it's not, I used to say, I'm so glad my son's not going to remember the first 3 years, because that's where I can mess up and he won't remember it.
Those the years that they remember.
It's programmed memory. They have nothing to associate it with. So it's almost more insidious. And if I could have done anything differently, it would have been be more aware of what Lisa brought up. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great. These are great points. Yeah, I definitely work with people healing things that are in utero. Yeah. We're affected by our mother's emotions and all the chemicals of the emotions and the energy. And yes, we hear the voices of the people around us and all the different energy I see in people's eyes, the vibration of all that around us, definitely.
It sets your biohormonal climate. And in psychology now, we understand that that gets written into your DNA. It actually distorts the DNA and puts what they call garbage on it. It's just like this junk, this debris that will clog the gene that expresses. And then hormonally, you will be predisposed. So if your mom's anxious, you're predisposed to have anxiety through your youth and through your life, and you view that as normal. It's set as your hormonal climate. So it really is just everything. We're biohormonal machines responding energetically through those hormones.
I'm saying good experiences can affect methylation too. So yeah. Methylation and other DNA modifications. I was a geneticist, molecular biologist once upon a time. All right. Great. All right. Anything else for Karina? Thanks so much for your question, for jumping on and knowing we might be able to provide insight and context for you to know your truth. All right, let's see. So we've got now Tiffany.
Thank you.
And Chelsea. You're welcome. Tiffany and Chelsea. So Tiffany, you want to jump in next?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I just had a question. Well, big question. I don't know. I just turned 40 back in November. I've been on my spiritual awakening, I guess you'd call it, the last couple years of, I work a lot with crystals, see a lot of synchronicities, numbers. I have my Reiki 1 certification, but I'm still kind of lost on my path. As a child, I had, I guess you would say, abilities, and somehow I managed to shut all those off. I had a traumatic childhood, pretty bad, and I have problems with confidence and trusting myself. I even read tarot. I don't have great, I still look at the book instead of trying to use my intuition with it. I'm having a lot of difficulties with trying to do that, basically. I guess trusting my intuition and myself, I guess. I want to be able to eventually be able to help other people, you know. I can't seem to even help myself to begin with, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It's great. I'm just going to share a little bit before the first practitioner line goes. Just want to let them know. So just the first thing that came up for me was anger and the really healthy part of anger, and learning to feel and express the healthy part of anger. Like that's yes and no. And those were overridden for you. And it was so not safe to hold your boundaries back then.
Right.
Right. So letting your energy, kind of disperse as a way of being safe. And so now that you're safe, right, letting yourself learn to express this. And so anger, I think of anger as a good thing. There's aggression of take someone else down, and that was modeled very poorly. It was modeled and it's a very poor expression. I think of it as aggression and fear fight. It's not anger. So, right, anger is honor. It's honoring ourselves, honoring the energy of others too, right? And so starting small, right, where things you feel comfortable with. So even just imagining like some food that I might eat, some food you might eat that you don't want, and just saying energetically saying to the universe, saying to the food, saying out loud, no, I don't want you. Not that you shouldn't eat it, but things you really don't want to eat.
Right.
Just play with something really simple. Some color that you might put on today that you don't want to put on. No, I'm not putting you on. So particularly practicing the no, right? So you practice yes too. If there's someone in your life where you feel safe, practice asking for something, making requests. That's a version of anger too, in a healthy way. And it can be just something like, could you move that pen over an inch? Start really small.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I recommend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. We got a lot of people in line. All right, Jessie, Marcia, Lisa, go ahead, Jessie.
I'm going to be quick and hope that you heard what I said earlier to Carrie about trauma and how it happens at different stages of our core development. And I'm going to kind of dovetail with what Laureli was referencing about anger. So I worked a lot in domestic violence. My husband was narcissistic personality disordered. I was DID. So we worked for 17 years with a group called Allies in Change, which has really been revolutionizing how to look at DV and how it's really this, it's not about a victim and a villain. It's really about a dynamic and a participation in how we do that. But one of the things that we learned in that community, which really empowered me, was about anger. So as Laureli was referencing, when we have trauma and that choice of saying no is taken away from us because we have to appease or serve or meet somebody else's needs, we aren't even oftentimes I wasn't given the ability to be angry. So I didn't really know how to be angry. I didn't really know what that meant. And my husband was the first person to piss me off. Like, I mean, I threw a toilet paper roll at him. Like, I was so enraged, right? And he called me so violent after that, right? So it was like I had to learn how to be angry. But what Chris Huffine, who's a brilliant psychologist and studies this and now teaches around, he says anger is actually not an emotion. That anger is a fear blocked emotion. So when we have fear and there's a blocked emotion, anger, I view it as a vehicle to be able to puncture my veil of silence. The degree of anger that I feel is the degree of thickness of my veil of silence that my emotion that's blocked has to get through. So when I feel angry, what I do, because I also have this, I wouldn't say pedestal of right conduct anymore, but I do have a sense of, I always want to walk away from a situation being supportive rather than deconstructive, though I recognize sometimes I have to be that too. So because I always want to do good and not harm, I tend to not let my anger be what I express in front of others. So I give myself permission to remove myself from the situation when I'm feeling like I would like to express something, and go get into touch with that little girl that didn't have the choice. And what does she need? What is the feeling I really want to express? And then can I strategize for myself on ways to be able to? Can I give myself permission to do it? As Laureli also said, practicing, finding people you're safe to practice it with. And I'll let other people take it from here.
Thank you.
Great. All right. We've got Marcia, Lisa, and Wyatt.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hello.
So a little bit about your path. I agree with what everybody said so far, but a little bit about your path. Those of us who've been through a ton of crap are the ones that can help the other people through a ton of crap, right? So I believe that you're going to be a really, really great healer as soon as you let yourself be a great healer, you know? So it's more about releasing the things that are blocking you than it is. And that's why everybody's talking about releasing the anger and, you know, getting yourself out of that cloud of self-judgment that you have. That came from everyone else, but now it's yours. So then you can move into everything that you were meant to be. And I see you being fantastic. So if that encourages you, which I hope it does, I'm happy.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, great. We've got Lisa and Wyatt.
So I also am being shown that there's fury sort of locked in the throat. And for you to feel comfortable allowing for that, again, like everybody has said. And the first message was actually, you know, ask her to believe in your heart. And I said, how do we do this when we don't know how to do this sometimes? And the next phrase was about allowing the throat to open and free this fury. Now, I really appreciate all the different ways. I actually had to spend a lot of time by myself to release the anger that I had to uncover, because it wasn't appropriate for anybody. It was hardly appropriate for me, it seemed like. But I also want to just acknowledge that, first of all, that we love you in the words that we're saying. I've heard a lot of people say to me, well, Lisa, if you just didn't speak because you sound angry, or if you just, you know, deal with your anger, then other people will hear you. Your awakening requires this. Not only do you require being in anger and fury and being able to love that part of you, those who can love you for it are also a part of the process. And this planet is under the deconstruction and reconstruction. So being angry is a part of the process. And I love what Jessie said. I can't even put the words back in and repeat it, but it was about, you know, sort of feeling like she put herself on this pedestal of not being a certain way. And again, I want to reiterate that, you know, I'm not trying to perpetuate harming other people through it, but the anger and the fury that all of us are going through, this time of our lives in 2021 on this planet and in this universe right now, this is what's required. We're required to get a little bit angry right now, because what's on the other side and what comes out from underneath all of that is where we're going. So thank you for even being here and being willing, and everybody else, you know, for all of your vulnerabilities.
Thank you.
Okay, Wyatt is next.
All right. Hi, Tiffany.
Hello.
It's good to see you again. Okay, the spirits were really, really strong with you. So there is going to be very, very quick experience just for you real quick. But I want to kind of show you kind of a vision I'm seeing with this. So they're asking me to do a power retrieval for you, and specifically power animal, for you to feel empowered within this. Your animal that came to me was a lion, and a lion, like most people associate with, is courage. Now, this fear that is built within you that you have had for so long, that everyone has pointed out very directly, it is time to, yes, let it go. But courage is not the opposite of fear. Courage is having the ability to face the fear and move forward without it hindering you. So this line is going to push you forward. And I envision you and that hair of yours, which is all tied back, which is great, but I see it flowing and long like a mane of a lion, and your lion sitting next to you. This is a very powerful stance as you're protected. So, really quick, I'm sorry, I'm like way up here with energy and he wants to come in. So if may I have your permission to blow in your power animal for you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that a hana uhisha. Nene hiala mahis. Serono sasayak imahia totasha. Isha sotolos. I am really hot. So your lion is now with you. The best way for you to really welcome him is to talk directly to him. I'm getting a very masculine energy, but this is to really kind of counterbalance this feminine side that you have been really feeling. So it's time to counteract that, really welcome him in. If you like or have tobacco, maybe offering some tobacco to Mother Earth, spending some time in nature and in contemplation with your lion. So thank you for letting me do that. You really want to come back.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry, my dog is getting all twisted up in my scarf. Okay, he wants to be hugged. Oh, all right. Oh, I wanted to one comment too I wanted to share about what Jessie said is I love that Jessie brought attention to this in the way she did. It's anger. The wave of anger is possibly as big as the affront. Those are my words. Also, it's as big as it needs to be to get through. Right, to get through and get out. And so I love that Jessie saying that. And as we are more and more comfortable with the energy of anger, the more and more subtle it gets, so that it's simply a no. And we go the other way. So it doesn't even look like anger anymore. And it's still the yes and the no. It's the being able to hear that message, that signal, and listen and follow. Yeah, and that's following our intuition, right? Is knowing and allowing ourselves to follow.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. All right, let's see. Oh, let's have Susy. Susy needs to leave. So, whoops, I know Susy needs to leave. So I want Susy to be able to jump in and share about herself. On the way out. Susy, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I didn't get any hits for you, Tiffany. I apologize. But anything I might have gotten would have been what everybody else has said. I encourage you to continue to work with Lion. So thank you, Wyatt, for introducing him. But my name is Susy Parker Goins. I'm with Blue Lightning Healing. I'm a channel introducing you to your guides, embodying them so that you can talk to them. I'm an energy healer, Reiki master. I do body scans. I look at past lives and can help you, give you the tools and techniques you can use. I'm a facilitator for your healing. I have a podcast called Blue Lightning Healing Meditations. I'm going to start up series 3 in a couple of weeks. You can find me at bluelightninghealing.com. Best way to get a hold of me is Susy at bluelightninghealing.com. And I do have a fair special. I am so grateful for all of the joy, the love, and the wisdom that came through tonight, and blessings to everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susy. And practitioners, want to check in with anyone else. Did anyone else have to leave here at the top of the hour? I want you to have a chance to put your voice in the space before you go. All right, great. All right, we've got one more question. All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. All right, let's see, Chelsea. And Chelsea wrote me some messages so I can read them out. Oh, there you go. Let's get you on the screen. Yeah. Do you want to share? Do you want me to read? What would you like to?
If you could read it, I would appreciate that.
Sure, that's great. Okay. Let's see. So you said, I'm seeking clarity and understanding of a significant relationship that has just ended. This person expressed something they felt coming from or around me, or perhaps holding on to me, and it created a huge conflict. I want to understand where this came from. Is it some kind of past life energy between us, or a projection, or something that I should be aware of in myself? It was a confusing and painful experience. I'm open to any messages, but especially those that may help me understand what this person was talking about, and to let go without so much internal conflict and longing to hold on to this person. Also, during this time in my life, I have been asking for a lot of help and guidance spiritually, more so than I ever have. Is there anyone or anything who may be trying to help me that I should be trying to have a deeper connection with, specifically at this time? I have so much gratitude for you all and anything that may come through for me right now. Thank you. Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome. All right. Got Jessie in line, and who else? Anyone? Well, Jessie, you can go ahead and start. Wyatt's next.
Well, I just wanted to, give a full kind of look at what you asked about as far as things holding on and things like that. So, I oftentimes, when people come to me and they feel that they have some attachment from some other lifetime, in general, those tend to be aspects of our externalized self. Laureli talked about this earlier. We will internalize certain aspects of ourselves and we externalize other aspects of ourselves. Teal Swan talks about this also. She references that most people are fractured in consciousness up to 22 to 400 and some odd consciousnesses. And the ones that we don't like of ourselves, we externalize. And so other people experience that almost like a little kid nagging on their sleeve, like, can you, would you? And we experience that person as this attraction. We're like, oh my God, I don't know what it is. I'm just like attracted to this. But what's happening is that external person holds a similar vibration to the part of yourself you've rejected. And often that gets confused as these karmic relationships or these past life relationships, and those too can be. But the reality is you're in this life, and everything you need for this life is here, and this is where your focus is. And when we go looking outside of this life or to other things, we're really just externalizing even more of ourselves, putting that spider webbing even further outside of ourselves. So when we have the mirror in front of us and it hurts or it's exciting, we're engaged. We're learning. And what we're learning about is ourselves. We're learning about ourselves in the mirror. And it's really confusing to look at that mirror because we think the mirror is showing us how we look to the outside world, but it's not. It's actually showing us our relationship with ourselves and the part we're not conscious of, our subconscious part. That's what the mirror is showing us. So let's say you have somebody on the outside who's like, you're irresponsible. You don't take care of business. You blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my God, it's so hard for me to just track everything and I'm doing the best that I can. Okay, well, you know what? You probably have a little girl that you beat up a lot and say even worse things to than that, but that are of that nature. And so your little girl who's like, you know what? I'm doing the best I can. She's like jumping off the bus. She's like, screw you, lady. I'm going to go find someone else who's going to say this to you. And it's going to be so bad that you're going to get so upset enough that you're going to say, you don't get to talk to me like that. And if you don't get to talk to me like that, well, I don't get to talk to me like that anymore either. And that's what that little girl is challenging you to do with those relationships. It's asking you, can you stop talking to me like that? Can you talk to me with as much love as you're talking to this lady? Because look, she's talking to you that way too. See what I'm saying? That's how we connect with those fractured parts that we've rejected. I'll let others pick it up.
So I just wanted to have Marcia be able to jump in if she can. It turns out it's really late. She's got to run. Marcia, did you want to share your contact info? So it's in the video before you go. Marcia, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted or I don't know if it works for you.
There. Yeah, if I can get everything to work correctly.
Yeah, so remind everyone again who you are, what you do, and how they can contact you.
I'm Marcia Colver Reichert, and my website is marciacolver.com. And I'm sure Laureli's got that up on the chat because she's awesome and efficient. I do Celtic shamanism and loads of other stuff, hypnotism, astrology, and a lot of energy work. So I thank you all for your questions tonight. It was really fun, and the energy in here was amazing. So thanks to all the practitioners too.
Thanks so much, Marcia. Thanks for being here. All right, we've got Wyatt next, answering Chelsea's question.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
So I really wanted to hop in real quick. I had gone through something very similar to what you're describing. About a year ago, my ex decided to break up with me, and needless to say, he went on a very long binge of some substances and other things. And in that time, I had learned that he was cheating on me for about 2 years. So it was a very interesting time for me. But something that I learned is during this time, what better time than to work on yourself and your inner child, because you are so raw, you are so open, you are so, all your wounds and scars have been blown back open. In another kind of metaphor, we have been reshattered, and light cannot pass unless there are cracks. So let that light come in. And during this period of time, I actually was introduced to this book by my boss, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Amazing, amazing, amazing woman. She's the founder of the Hay House, which a lot of our metaphysical books actually are published by. She goes off of affirmations to not only work on yourself, but your inner child and everything else that you may find within your body, diseases, illnesses, trauma, so on and so forth. Highly recommended. As far as the inner child goes, one technique that worked for me is I had my mom sent me photos of my little baby self and I held those up and I looked directly in my little eyes and I told myself, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are powerful. You are strong. You are worthy of everything, of love, of light. You're worthy of yourself. And you are worthy enough to make it through this. And I went through quite a bit with that. So, Chelsea, I want to let you know that you yourself are worthy of this. You yourself are worthy of the love and the light that's coming to you. And know that the wind is at your back, even if it feels like there are some resistances. You're going to be able to navigate and fill your sails to move forward. So take it in stride. You're okay. You are loved.
Thank you. And I just want to say something in response to that. The wind is at your back comment reassures me that was meant to ask this question, because the person I'm actually talking about has a "May the wind be at your back" tattoo like on his back. So I just thought that was interesting. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, we've got Lisa ready to share.
Hi, Chelsea. The first thing that I heard, and this may or may not resonate, so it's okay. I didn't write a lot down, and sometimes I hear things and then try to write them down and they come out a little bit different. But I wrote that he believes in your courage to find your way out, and that you have a lot of feelings about bravery, but you want to turn it off. And again, I can kind of relate to this. So when I give myself the time and the space to allow myself to practice what I call these morphing practices, which is just basically like, when Wyatt said, allow the light in, there's also a light in you that matches that, and it's wanting to come out to meet with that light. I mean, it's in and out and all around us. And so start paying attention to when you're feeling courageous and when you convince yourself that it's not appropriate. And that your bravery is really pronounced in your right arm too. I'm not sure if you've been here the whole time, but there was another person in the room, and I'm I tend to speak to a lot of what I'm going through because my guides push me in that direction. But there's a right arm reverberation is what I'm hearing with you, that your right arm wants to be free. And again, in the postural way of looking at things, it's very subtle, but when the collarbones tend to protrude like this, when the shoulder rolls forward, there's this area right here that is, it holds a lot of courage for us, but a lot of people's postures hide that part of us. And again, it's all connected to this area at the base of the throat, the carina. I know there's a woman in here, Coriaina, but Carina is the carina of where it's like a bow of where the ship leads with this. And so those of us who are a little more shy in the world and kind of very protective, and I'm hearing the word skittish, but I don't know if that relates to you necessarily. So just play with your posture, use your breath, be gentle with it. Again, you might use a mirror, you might just play outside and use these earth elements to, like I spoke of earlier, to kind of be your best friend right now and lean into the earth. I'm leaning back, imagining like I'm leaning up against a tree, so that it's like sitting behind you. There's your back again, protecting you and sort of like an umbrella over you while you navigate your way through this. Good luck and take care.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Chelsea,
much. Yeah, Cindy, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to just kind of jump in, and, my heart goes out to you because, we've all kind of gone through a rejection of someone who we thought was like the perfect soulmate, and then it's poof, it's gone. But I want you to understand something really important, okay? That the change that came upon you in that moment, okay, is the spark in your heart that's going to lead you to your next opportunity for love in the form that's actually going to meet you at the right level. Okay? Yes, yes, and yes. Okay? So I want you to pay attention to the signs that are happening all around you. I want you to hang out with friends who validate, who you are as a soul and who they are. I want you to know that you're always being helped. Okay? You're not alone at all. Right now, all of us are, sending you love and light, and you can open your heart and feel that. I want you to just keep trusting, okay? You can always call in Archangel Michael. He can help clear you. You can reframe how you are thinking into a much more positive, frame of reference. Instead of going back into the past and rehashing why, just say, again, what do I really want in a partner? Or can I just be the partner to myself? Right? Okay. I actually see you using this time to become an author, so to speak, and teaching other people that they have the power to go through those experiences too. And you wouldn't be where you are now without it being in the right place at the right time. So hard as it is, yeah. Just you own it, let go of it, surrender, accept the help that's coming towards you, and just be in love with yourself. Love yourself first so you can truly love someone else. Thank you.
That's great. I'm going to pin you just for a moment. Yeah, I totally was, to me, your eyes are similar to Wyatt's. I appreciate Wyatt's story. And I shared earlier with someone that she might have priest, priestess first and second, so that she had the tension of like wanting to share outwards and the sharing inwards that was happening and the blocking. You have it with the second one where it shares inwards, where you see ways you could grow and how you could do better. And often what happens with this is that you, people that have this will put others higher up on a pedestal than themselves. They'll hold others higher, push themselves down. And so I love just all the things that everyone has shared. And so self-appreciation is a way of sharing love with yourself. So appreciating you, chances are you regularly are appreciating others and seeing how others are sharing in good ways, or how others have good intentions, and so turning that inwards so that you see how you're good. I mentioned earlier, the most mature lesson of priest priestess is to trust that, follow what's wanted and trust that the pacing to get to what's wanted is so perfect. The third lesson, therefore, and I think practicing this third lesson is great for you, is celebrating what's happened, celebrating what's been accomplished, celebrating what's here now and what's good. Right. And that includes the intention of what's here, as well as the actual actions and the beaming of love. And so you appreciating yourself, and it's great to appreciate really small things if you feel stuck. Like if you can get into a flow and you can do 20 at a time, that's great, and start wherever you can start. But it's great to do really simple things like, I appreciate that my ears hold up my earrings. Right? It's to start with whatever small piece to get yourself in flow of appreciating. Right? Yeah. So that would be, another step of how to do what everyone is sharing too. Just, I appreciate so much. I see the goodness in your eyes and the care in your eyes. And, the desire for what's good for everyone. And you want to really feel that for you too. Right? And knowing that you're worthy of that. Right. And Jessie's got a little bit more to share. Jessie, go ahead and jump in.
I'm sorry I wasn't, but Laureli, you totally touched on it, and I got the ping. So, I want to just, both Carrie and Chelsea, both of you guys, like I want to call you both into focus because, I remember one time I was driving along and I saw this woman on the side of the street, and I'm going to try not to cry, but she was wrapped in a sheet, and she wouldn't let me give her a hug. She wouldn't let me give her any money. She wouldn't let me take her anywhere. And I sat and I talked with her, and she said the most powerful thing to me. She said, only the strongest of us come into these lives because God has to show up here too. And that was all she could say. That's all she had. And I thought I'd stop to help her, but she helped me. And so remember, we're put in these hard places because we are the light there. And that's something one of my most gifted students said to me when I was in a dark place and I was thinking about quitting. And she was like, Jessie, when you're in the darkness, that's because you're supposed to be the light there. So just start shining. So I just had to share that with you guys.
Thanks, Jessie. All right. Anyone have anything else for Chelsea?
And I just want to say that every person that spoke, something from each of you definitely resonated with myself in the situation and what I asked for. So thank you very much. And I appreciate you all.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for being here and sharing, sharing your energy with all of us and the gifts of your answers with everyone. Well, I just put in the chat the link for giving us feedback about tonight and entering into a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. I'll put information about the practitioners in a moment. So we're going to do a couple different things. The practitioners are all going to go around and share again about who we are and our contact info. And then we're going to do just like a version of a ritual and an offering at the end. Yeah. All right. So practitioners, go ahead, and whoever wants to jump in, I'm going to be putting our contact info in the chat. Jump in and share your name and what your offerings are, and then how people can contact you. So glad we were of service. Sorry, Cindy, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Cindy McGonagle. I'm a psychic medium, and you can reach me by my phone number. And I am offering 20% off on either an hour reading with me or 30 minutes. And we can dive deep into whatever it is you need. When you work with me, I'm a catalyst for your own intuition, and a spark becomes a fire within you. Thanks.
One of you jumping next? Okay, I'm going to call names. Okay, Lisa, go next.
I go by Lisa Love Warrior, but my last name is Knowlton. So my website is lisanowlton.com. That's LISAKNOWLTON. And tonight I'm offering $45 for 40 minutes. I work with people using their bodies and helping to heal the heart so that the heart can give a little bit more of a voice to the mind, and they can collaborate and co-create together. Thank you, everybody, for your vulnerability and your strength to be here.
I guess let's have Wyatt go and then Jessie.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Anyway, hi, everyone. My name is Wyatt Larson. I am a shaman and spiritual coach. I combine the ancient and the modern practices to be able to help you move forward in your path of healing. As you know, being a shaman is so much more than just a healer. So I am always here for my community. And you being my community, I'm always here. So always feel free to reach out. You can find me at thewildwoodhollow.com, or you can reach me at thewildwoodhollow@gmail.com. I am providing 10% off of all my products and services if you just let me know that you are here. So I look forward to speaking to each of you, and thank you for sharing space with me.
Thanks, Wyatt. Okay, now Jessie, go ahead.
Sorry, Wyatt. I totally didn't even hear what Laureli said. I'm Jessie Starr. You can find me at jessie@healingpathwalkers.com. I'm currently trying to find my next generation of healing pathwalkers who want to join in my life mastery program. I'm offering it as a 1-year program now, where I've been doing it as a 6-month training program. I teach non-denominational energy work, consciousness work, and body, mind, spirit awareness, utilizing modern psychological practices as well as energy work, some esoteric awareness, but I really would prefer keeping us focused towards the modernization and that 5D awareness. So I work with people who are at all stages of awakening, and that's my passion. You can read more about it at my healingpathwalkers.com. I'm offering 50% off on my readings booked with me here as a part of this panel. So you can email me and let me know you were here. And I always offer anyone new to Healing Pathwalkers a free 30-minute conversation, because I have 3 different 1-year training programs and lots of different ways that I support you. I'd rather you be your own healer and me just open the door, show you how. Thanks.
Thanks, Jessie. All right, and I am Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. And I offer my work at 40% off if you sign up from being here at an event. I apply my work to all sorts of questions: life purpose, career path, relationships, matchmaking. I love to do conscious online dating with people. Yeah, all kinds of different things. And you can learn more about me at LaureliShimayo.com. That's LaureliShimayo.com. You can learn more about all these events at MeWeFairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. Some of our upcoming events are this Friday. We have a panel on waking the bear at spring equinox. And then the next Monday, we have a panel on clarifying, releasing, and cutting cords. We have another fair on the 26th, and we have lots more panels on all kinds of different themes coming up. All right. Well, this next step, what we're going to do together on the way out, is not my specialty. So I hand it over to those of you who are. So I know I mentioned Wyatt as possibly to lead us through something, and I'm open to practitioners. We all share this however we share this. Go ahead, Wyatt.
if it is okay with everyone, I am more than honored to lead you in a closing of circle and prayer and offering. So in this, you are more than welcome to stay muted, but when it comes to singing, I want you to sing with me. Sing from your heart, whether it is just toning or your favorite song. I'm going to sing to Mother Earth. So when it reaches that point, you will know I will be singing. So just putting this on, and I'm going to enter into non-ordinary reality. And journey with me, if you will. Mother, we feel you under our feet. Mother, we hear your heartbeat. Mother, we hear you under our feet. Mother, we feel your heartbeat. Hey, 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 oh. 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 Thank you to all the spirits that have gathered with us today, to the soul retrievals, to the information and the guidance that we have received, the healing, the words of support, the building of community. Please and thank you. Join us in this space and in spaces ahead. To the plant kingdom, we thank you and honor you. To that of the animal kingdom, we thank you and honor you. To the mineral kingdom and of stone, we thank you. Water, earth, fire, and air. Eurus, Notus, Zephyrus, and Boreas, we thank you. And may we go forth in this space, not as separated as we may seem, as we may think, but as connected as nature. Let us move forward in love and light with the wind at our back. Aho.
Aho.
Thank you so much. Everyone else, if you wish, on the way out, feel free to unmute and share your voice in a space in a way that's inspired to be part of what we have done together.
Thank you, everybody. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. So I'll share again too. There's a question. I'm putting a link in the chat. You share your feedback with us and give us your email address. We'll allow all the practitioners to reach out to you and contact you on their newsletter lists, and you can get entered into a drawing for a free 30-minute session. Yeah, your words, your sound in the chat, or your voice in the space is welcome. Thanks everyone for supporting and creating this together. Right. Make sure to get the link from the chat. If you can't find it, reach out to me and I'll be moving people to the waiting room. Thank you so much.